Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
Offices in Baton Rouge.
104.5 WNXX Jackson, 104.9 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Tuesday, August 18th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 96. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron joins us at 7:30. Derek Stingley Sr. stops by at 8 a.m. We talk Saints with Nick Underhill at 8:30, and the Athletics' Brody Miller stops by at 9:30. Remember, we have our OTB mailbag today. Get your questions in. Tweet them. Ask them into YouTube Live. Use the hashtag OTB Mailbag, and we'll get them answered at 8:15 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Get in the chat there. Subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube page. Set your notifications for new content posted daily. Hour number 1 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off and at it off the bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria, online, 104.5ESPN.com. Good morning. Jordy Collada, T-Bob Hebert, Matthew Musso, Danny Cardenas here with you until 10 a.m. this morning. Off the Bench is driven and powered every day by All-Star Toyota. Find our friends online at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Big show today. 7:30 this morning, LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron will stop by, get his first reaction to the schedule that was announced last night by the SEC. Things looking good for the Tigers as they defend the national championship. They'll open up with Mississippi State on September 26th in Tiger Stadium. We'll give you the rest of the layout coming up inside your headlines. Your mailbag questions at 8:15, hashtag OTB Mailbag. You're watching on YouTube, you can do that easy if you just search the 104.5 ESPN station.
Oh, yeah, this is the first post-huddle mailbag. So the YouTube chat's got to come through. We're relying on y'all.
8 a.m. this morning, Derek Stingley Sr. will stop by. We'll talk to Coach Sting, just like we do every Tuesday here on Off the Bench. We'll talk New Orleans Saints with Nick Underhill as the NBA playoffs last night moving into full swing. Sean Payton speaking, Drew Brees talking after practice yesterday. Big news day on Monday. Lots to get here on Tuesday's edition of Off the Bench. Dick Vitale tweeting again. Hold up. LSU basketball, the notice of allegations will be there at some point, says Vitale. We will address that tweet coming up before we log off at 10 a.m. this morning.
Speaking of tweets, how about Sir Yacht?
I love Sir Yacht.
Is he John the Baptist, or is he a false prophet? Only time will tell, but there is a kid out there on Twitter who's been at the center of this story that's starting to gain a little steam. There's a little noise around the edges. There's some other more verified journalistic voices coming out as well, but Sir Yacht leading the charge and saying, Jordy, the Big Ten fall football season may not be dead yet. Now, I can't be trusted in all this because I am not objective. Right, I want the Big Ten to play. I want football to happen. I think more people that play football, the better chance it has of continuing. And so I desperately want to believe this. So I don't quite trust myself in all of this. But there's enough smoke here where I think it at least bears mentioning and bears talking about. So stick around. We'll explain how the Big Ten season may have a flicker of life yet.
Tuesday, August 18th. Here's your headlines.
Headlines on Off the Bench.
LSU and the SEC announced their schedule release on Monday afternoon. The Week 1 matchups were announced yesterday at 2 o'clock as LSU learned they would open up against Mike Leach and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. That game is scheduled to be held in Tiger Stadium on September 26th. After that, LSU will travel to Nashville to face Vanderbilt. Missouri comes to town. Florida will host LSU and South Carolina will be in Baton Rouge. That'll be the month of November for LSU that'll be the month of October as LSU will close out the month of October on Halloween Day at Auburn. They will open up the first Saturday in November with a bye. Alabama is in town on November 14th. They'll travel to Arkansas on November 21st. Texas A&M will host LSU on November 28th, and then Ole Miss will be the season finale on December 5th. Greg Sankey on the SEC Network last night was talking about the importance of releasing the playing dates.
Well, it's another step in the journey, and I think I've used that phrase, 1,000 times it seems this summer. Today is not the conversation that a year or even 6 months ago I thought I'd be having in mid-August with a reconfigured schedule, expanding our season to 10 conference games, or really shrinking it to 10 conference games. But that's where we are, and the ability to take a step at a time, to have our teams begin practice today, to continue to work through medical issues, and how we support a healthy environment. Each one of those are important steps. Today's just one of those that's a little bit more public than some of the others.
Yeah, so Greg Sankey throughout this entire ordeal, Jordy, his leadership has been to be patient, right? And kind of fill the gaps just by answering things without really saying anything. At times, we've criticized. At times, we criticize even while, applauding, probably being patient is the right thing. Well, with some of these recent testing developments, like the saliva test that just got approved by the FDA, this was developed by Yale. It was funded by the NBA and the NBAPA. There's talk out that this sort of saliva test, and we can get into how it would do this, but this could potentially save not just the college football season, but businesses in general, because of the how cost effective it is, because of the quick turnaround, because of the accuracy, because of how easy it is. And so if this saliva test does come through in the way that it is being positioned, then guys like Sankey, who preached patience, are going to come out of this looking great. And guys like Kevin Warren, who did not, will be open to a lot of criticism.
LSU senior defensive back Kerry Vincent Jr. announced Monday that he is opting out of the upcoming season and will prepare for the NFL draft. Vincent Jr. is the second LSU player to opt out, joining Neil Farrell Jr., who already announced he will not be playing this season. Be a big recruiting get for LSU on Monday as they dipped into Alabama to land their first offensive line commitment for the class of 2022. Four-star offensive guard Lucas Taylor committed to LSU yesterday over Florida State, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Penn State, and others. LSU has now 7 verbal commitments for the class of 2022 with the addition of Taylor. New Orleans Saints guard Andrus Peat, and this comes from Mike Triplett over at ESPN.com. Andrus Peat was absent from Monday's practice due to an unspecified hand injury, a source told the AP. The timetable for Pete's return is unclear. Pete, a former first-round pick in 2015, re-upped with the Saints this offseason on a 5-year, $57.5 million contract extension. He has started 65 games in 5 seasons. Sean Payton was speaking after practice about that offensive line, but specifically about 2 of the newcomers in Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz.
Yeah, look, we're evaluating both of them. They're both, getting plenty of work. McCoy's getting work at center, Ruiz at right guard, and then, probably every second or third day, we'll evaluate flipping them around. So we're rotating those guys along with Nick Easton inside. We feel like, obviously, all those reps are important, and I think overall, he's a pretty quick study.
Yeah, I think that, to me, that kind of highlights what we talked about yesterday, Jordy, the friction between preparation and evaluation. It just doesn't feel like they have enough time, maybe, to get Ruiz ready to be an every down center in the NFL in this weird sort of training camp period. And I could definitely be wrong in this, right? Maybe he's way better than I'm getting credit for. It certainly feels so to me like you'll probably have McCoy starting at center. And then I don't know who will win that right guard job between Easton and Ruiz. I would maybe give Easton the edge here early on.
We got some Drew Brees sound coming up, but here was Brees yesterday speaking about Jameis Winston.
I've been impressed with Jameis. He loves football. He loves the game. He loves to compete. Great personality. Very likable guy. Wants to learn. So, man, all those things are the first components that you kind of see and recognize Obviously, we're just getting into pads, and so we're just getting into, real life situations, that we're trying to create, in practice. And so, the reps have been somewhat limited for all of us up to this point. But as that ramps up, I really like our quarterback room. Me, Taysom, and Jameis. I think that's, we all work well together.
Benifer. One of the other great couples names throughout history. I think Breeze just summed up the quarterback competition in one fell swoop. Tamus, the Tamus situation. Who will emerge, Jameis or Taysom Hill?
J-Rod?
There was, is that what it was? Was it J-Rod and Benifer? I remember Benifer. I don't remember J-Rod. No, it makes sense.
A-Rod.
I mean, it's great. If somebody didn't do J-Rod, I feel like they missed the boat.
Big Ten presidents and chancellors voted on August 11th to suspend the season. Now there is
Or
some
did they?
pushback on whether or not there was a vote. Yesterday, Penn State's vice president came out and was curious on whether or not the vote ever happened. Minnesota's president said the same thing. Here was Justin Fields on SportsCenter talking about why his petition is urging the Big Ten presidents to get back on the field.
I think if the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 all think that we can have a, season safely, then I don't see any reason why the Big Ten couldn't do the same. Like I said earlier, I think what we're doing at Ohio State is very safe, and I think if we can get everybody on the same track in the conference, I think that'll be a safe way to actually conduct the season.
NBA playoffs?
Well, real quick on that, and we'll touch on this more later, but Jeff Snook is an author and a journalist from Ohio State, covers the Buckeyes, but he's written like 14 nonfiction books, blah, 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 blah. He was on Facebook yesterday. He doesn't have a Twitter, but he was on Facebook reporting that according to his sources, that indeed a vote never took place. And here is a quote from his source. Quote, "It became clear that Commissioner Warren wanted to delay the season until the spring," the source told me. "Several presidents wanted to push on with practices and delay the actual start of the season until late September or early October, but it became clear he did not want that. He helped turn several presidents who were undecided." So if this does all turn around, and if that is indeed true, that is a bad look for Kevin Warren, especially if stuff like the saliva test comes to pass and all of a sudden patience is in that discretion employed by these other that was the correct form of leadership in this regard. And Kevin Warren, he thought he was doing the right thing. Maybe it ends up he wasn't.
Day one of the NBA playoffs in the bubble was legit. 135-125 winners for Denver as they beat Utah. Donovan Mitchell had 57 points. Jamal Murray had 37. Donovan Mitchell's 57 was the third highest scoring output in playoff history behind Michael Jordan and Elgin Baylor. The Raptors beat the Nets 134-110. Celtics beat the 76ers 109-101. Jason Tatum had 39. Luka Doncic had 42-7 in a losing effort to the Clippers last night, 118-110. Kawhi had 29. Today, game one for the Magic Bucks series, the Heat and Pacers, the Thunder and Rockets, and then tonight it's the Blazers and the Lakers. Those are your NBA playoff matchups. Those are your headlines, what's trending here on Off the Bench on this Tuesday edition. Remember your mailbag questions, hashtag OTB mailbag inside of the YouTube watch app at 104.5 ESPN station. We'll answer them at 8:15 this morning. Coach Ed Orgeron coming up 15 minutes from now. OTB every day, powered by All Star
with
Toyota.
Tony Collada and
Musa.
T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body online, dgbauto.com. 415 Division Street is where they're located. Remember, get in touch with Kenny Frederick and his team this morning. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, dgbauto.com. We've been reminding you they're hiring over there. They're looking for service technicians. If you're looking for work, it's a great place to be employed. They had 401k, paid holidays and vacations. Search them online, dgbauto.com.
Go to dgbauto.com, Donaldsonville Glass and Body.com. Go there for all your car needs. Look, I go there for everything. Oil change, check engine light comes on, general service. I got an inspection sticker there recently. So it is a one-stop car shop. And the reason why I love them so much is that I trust them, okay? They're not trying to cheat me. They're not trying to get one over on me because I'm car ignorant, right? They don't care about that, though. They're not trying to maximize profit. They're trying to maximize your satisfaction because they know if that's the case, you'll be back like me. And that's why I make the trip over there to DG&B. Go to DonaldsonGlassandBody.com, DonaldsonGlassandBody.com.
Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Yacht and Ben Mintz. The guys are live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street to recap the SEC football schedule release and more. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Coach Ed Orgeron going to stop by here in a couple of minutes on Off the Bench. Every Tuesday here at 7:30, we link up with the LSU head football coach. Tigers back on the practice field. They have learned their schedule as last night. It was published by the Southeastern Conference. Week 1 at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon on the network, and then 6 o'clock yesterday evening. The rest of the schedule was released. And we talked about the schedule last week as they announced the +2 for all the schools and institutions. It seems like LSU was the big winner there a day after, or just 10 hours after the schedule has been released. I say again that LSU, this thing sets up on paper to look like it gives LSU a big advantage.
Yeah, it's a great schedule. And look, I don't know why. One of my favorite things to do is break down schedules.
Is it?
Yeah, you know how everybody has some people are mock draft guys, some people whatever. I love just looking at the schedule because there's a real flow to these sort of things, right? And I've written about it in the past where, like, a lot of times once a football season starts, it's like a train. It's just hurtling down the tracks. And you're trying to keep it on the rails, and you got to get in or get off, right? And there's twists and there's turns. But when you look at this LSU schedule, Jordy, as you alluded to, it doesn't seem to be any especially tough climbs or anything. I mean, it's a definite very tough middle portion where 3 out of your 4 games, you're going to play the 3 best teams on your schedule. But even in that, there's a bye week, which is key, which allows you to catch your breath, which allows you to focus on Auburn and not look forward to Alabama. Like, I like this schedule from so many different angles. And the main thing is, like I said, the overall flow of it kind of looks like a bell curve, which I think plays into LSU's favor. You got 3 kind of tune-up weeks. Then you're going to hit that very tough middle part. And if you pass those tests, then you will finish off with a relatively easier landing, right? And so maybe you get healthy. Maybe you have a lot of positive momentum rolling into whatever the postseason looks like.
Open up with Mississippi State on the 26th. You travel to Nashville and face Vanderbilt on October 3rd to begin the month of October. And all of these dates, I saw when the SEC put them out, was week 1, week 2, week 3. I still think that they're leaving themselves a little bit of wiggle room to possibly change the dates. The times have not been announced.
Yes, I think
this.
And that makes sense. They need to leave themselves at least have 3 weeks, I would say, or maybe a month worth of time where you feel like you can move games around if you needed to.
So the month of October looks like this. You open up after so September 26th, you open with Mississippi State in Baton Rouge, and then the month of October. On October 3rd, you travel to Nashville to face Vanderbilt. You come home on the 10th to play Missouri. You travel to the Swamp and play Florida on October 17th. South Carolina comes to Baton Rouge on October 24th, and then you close out the month of October on Halloween Day at Auburn on the Plains. You'll have a bye week to start November on November 7th. That'll be an off Saturday for LSU, and then on November 14th, Alabama's in town. So the second Saturday in November, LSU and Alabama will tee it up, and then after Alabama in Baton Rouge, LSU will travel to Fayetteville to play Arkansas on the 21st. Texas A&M will host LSU on November 28th, and then they'll close out their schedule with Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss in town in Baton Rouge on December 5th.
I mean, honestly, look, I know that we've talked about this more with the Saints, the incredible home schedule they have, where where they're likely not going to be a ton of fans, if any, in that Superdome, and that hurts, right? And yeah, not having fans in Death Valley, and that's not confirmed, right? But full capacity is probably not going to happen. Not having a full capacity Death Valley for Alabama, that hurts. But, Jordy, I will take that when I look at this schedule and I see that you have to go to Florida, that you have to go to Auburn, you have to go to Texas A&M, and you will actually be the beneficiary there of lessened crowds for all 3 of those games. So I think there's even advantages for LSU in that regard, in terms of the home and away and fans and the impact that could have. So, yeah, there's a lot of different angles to consider here. I like the Mississippi State test week 1 a ton. What a test. And I'm really excited to pick Coach O's brain about how you game plan for this when you haven't seen Leach at State or kind of know fully what to expect, what he'll do with their personnel. But great test for Bo Pelini's defense early on. You just lost a veteran guy in Kerry Vincent that you're going to have to replace. But, I mean, Mike Leach he gives him a puncher's chance. Not likely, but I think he gives him a puncher's chance. KJ Costello is a good quarterback, a proven quarterback. And everything's about the quarterback in football, right? We know that. It's why I'm more confident on Leach and Mississippi State this year than I am Kiffin and Ole Miss. And I think LSU wins, but the 26 is a really big number. And like I said, I think Leach he's such a wild card, especially going into his first game. And you have a Pelini and the new defense, a new 4-3 going into their first game. There's a lot of elements at play that make that a solid first test, because it's a test that you should pass, so you're not exposing yourself to too much risk, but it's also not just a complete swipe your card, go through the motions, and you get the win. No, like you're going to have to play well.
I like it for the fact of that LSU is breaking in a new quarterback who is trying to come out of the shadow of the most popular and best player in program history, and the whole lead up of week 1 is going to be about Mike Leach and Bo Pelini.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's fair.
there's
Yeah.
not going to be a lot of attention that's focused on Brennan and trying to fill the shoes of Burrow. It'll be a storyline, and it'll be talked about. But I think it'll be, it'll be a background story to Mike Leach coming to the SEC, opening up his conference play, opening up his career at Mississippi State on the road versus LSU, and then Bo Pelini coming back to the conference and facing off against an offensive mind like Mike Leach. I think that's going to dominate the storylines in the build-up of that game.
And the kind of worrying part is that there are a lot of similarities between, well, not a lot, all right, between KJ Costello's story and Joe Burrow's. Not saying he's going to be Burrow, but an upperclassman, grad transfer. Now he's actually done it on the field even more than Burrow had before he arrived here. But now he gets into a situation where he has, what did Mike Leach have Anthony Gordon doing last year, throwing like 7,000 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Now, granted, they also lost a game where I think they led by 30 in the third. So, like, Leach's teams, they are a wild card. They are volatile. But if they can do anything, they should be able to score. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. Miles, it feels like in the offense could almost – they're not going to be the main attraction week one, which is probably ideal for them.
Yeah. So LSU gets their announcement of the schedule along with the SEC.
Miles looked good dropping the balls in practice.
He did. LSU put out their video highlights from yesterday, and the media is not allowed in to cover practice right now. So LSU's putting out some of the highlights. And at the end of the highlight package, there is a one-on-one of Stingley and Chase, where Chase has got to step on Stingley, but really the play is made by the quarterback, and that is just dropping the ball into the bucket to Chase in front of Stingley, and it's an excellent pass down the field. You can hear Ross Callaway in the background complimenting the pass.
Well, and it sounds really dumb, but I don't know why this just never hit me until we were watching this. But it's like we always talk about Stingley and Chase sharpening each other, and absolutely that's true, but what are the advantages of Miles having to throw against Stingley every day and Cardell Flott? Like, if you can have success against the LSU secondary, even without Kerry Vincent Jr., if you can have success against that group, like maybe Alabama, I don't think you're going to see a side that is as talented as what LSU is bringing to bear this fall.
Yeah, T mentioned to Kerry Vincent Jr., and the news came out yesterday that the senior defensive back announced that he is going to opt out of the upcoming season and get ready for the NFL draft. He joins Neil Farrell Jr. In making that decision for LSU. So a couple of upper-class Tigers have announced that they will skip out on this season.
So, I'm sorry. A key difference there, though, right, is Neil Farrell Jr. is not going to the NFL.
He can come back.
Okay.
He can come back, and Vincent is stepping away to get prepared for the NFL draft. We'll talk to Derek Stingley Sr. coming up at 8 a.m. on maybe some names, and then next we'll talk to Ed Orgeron here on who could be next man up behind Vincent, or now that Vincent is out, who could be the replacement for LSU in the defensive backfield. If you've got a question for Ed Orgeron, jump inside of the YouTube Watch app or there on 104.5 ESPN station. Just drop the hashtag #AskCoachO. We're also taking your mailbag questions at 8:15 this morning. Hashtag OTB mailbag to get it in for the 8:15 segment. We're jam-packed here. Stingley Sr. coming up 8 a.m. We'll talk Saints with Nick Underhill 8:30 this morning. But next, LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Central Plumbing Company, online centralplumbing.org. Remember, 925-8552 is a convenient phone number. You can dial them there. You can get in touch with them online at centralplumbing.org. That's if you're looking for residential and commercial plumbing services. That phone number, 925-8552, always available to you. Call them at any time you need the customer service. Online, centralplumbing.org.
Centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. Go there today for all your plumbing needs. Licensed, bonded, insured, flat rate pricing, warranty to give you peace of mind. It's not just residential either. Though if you have an old house, new house, it doesn't matter. They've been doing it for 4 decades. So they've seen it all. They can fix it all. But if you're a business owner, you have an office building, your plumbing needs met, they have the correct insurance, paperwork, and personnel to do so. So just train it in your mind. Don't think twice. Any plumbing problems, drain that won't drain, water spraying that rain, toilet that won't flush, anything. Go to centralplumbing.org, call 925 Wait, 925-8552? CentralPlumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hello.
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.
Yo, join us for a Tuesday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tonda. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour. We'll also be joined by Chris Doring of the SEC Network on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Coach O, and you are listening to my favorite radio show, Off the Bench with Jordy and T-Bob, right here on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Go Tigers.
Every Tuesday here on Off the Bench, reigning national champs, Coach of the Year, LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron joins us on Off the Bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Lots to get to with the head coach. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, man. This was a great day yesterday for the LSU Tigers out there in that football field. We're excited to see our coaches and our team work together.
It was great to see the video coming out from yesterday's practice, Coach. As it feels like it's getting closer here in mid-August. Yesterday, you learned about your schedule. I know for somebody like you, you take it a game at a time. But what was your reaction to it?
I'm excited about it. Excited that we're playing. I looked at the schedule. It's a great schedule, obviously. 10 SEC games, opening up at home against Mississippi State, then Vanderbilt, then Missouri, and then obviously a big road game against Florida. You know, we're going to take them one at a time. I think it's a very favorable schedule, but it's a schedule that we have to play well each week.
Yeah, Coach, and let's just start with that Week 1 matchup because we got a lot of our listeners who have been asking us, and I'd love to ask you, how do you prepare for Mike Leach and Mississippi State, given that you don't have any film of like Leach or Costello at Mississippi State?
We've already prepared for them, T-Bob. We watched them at their previous schools. We studied all their games. We have a game plan. Obviously, there are going to be different wrinkles and stuff like that. But that's the first game is like that for every opponent. But it just you don't have the Mississippi State players playing in that system, so that's going to be a little bit different. But our guys are going to make adjustments. We're going to be fine.
Yeah, and it's a great test for Pelini and that new 4-3 system going against an offensive mind like Leach there Week 1. Obviously, Leach wants to throw the ball, Coach. One of the members of y'all's secondary has opted out to kind of to prepare for the professional level, and Kerry Vincent Jr. What did you say to Kerry? How did it all go down when he told you that he was leaving?
We wish him the best. Obviously, Kerry had some very legit reasons for opted out, and some of them were medical, history of the family and stuff like that, and also wanted to go into the NFL. So I felt like it was very legit. Kerry Vincent did a great job for us, won a national championship, went out the right way.
And so now you that's an upperclassman gone out of that room, but I know you have a lot of talent in that room. What kind of direction are you all seeing? Like who's got to step up and kind of try to win that job?
Yeah, we're looking at Cordell Flott looking good. I mean, he looked good again yesterday. Elias Ricks made some plays. Those guys there, Jay Ward, Rodarius Jones, Dwight McGoffin. So Corey's done a great job of recruiting those guys, and you have the great Derek Stingley there. So we're fine. We shouldn't skip a beat.
Coach, take me to the practice field yesterday. I saw you brought up Stingley. There was a couple of matchups on the video that you guys produced and put out on social media of Chase and Stingley going at it, but just you, the head coach, seeing your team in action. What was that like?
It was proud of all the work that they did before and all the preparation. You could tell that we're much further ahead than any other camp we've ever been because of the preparation of our coaches. I think that the new guys fit in well. The young guys showed out. We caught the ball well. We threw the ball well. I thought the line of scrimmage, obviously there's no pads, was very good for the first day as far as pad level and line of scrimmage discipline. Was very pleased with the shape of our team. I think we're in great shape. Ray Baker was out yesterday.
He was.
He'll be out today.
And we had a tremendous practice.
We'll ask about some true freshmen, but Arik Gilbert, Coach, we see him for the first time in shoulder pads and a helmet yesterday, and he's as intimidating as he looks without them. What did you make of your true freshman tight end?
The same thing we saw without a helmet.
Yeah.
The guy's going to be a phenomenal football player, made some great catches, and just a tremendous overall young man.
Coach, we always talk about Stingley and Chase really improving each other. But when you look at this LSU secondary and how talented they are, how much of an advantage is it for your quarterbacks to work against those guys? Because you just look at the windows that Stingley forces you to throw in, and you can't help but get better.
No question. 7-on-7, 1-on-1, team periods, blitz periods. Those are big press guys there in your face. There, like you said, T-Bob, there's tight windows and there's more pressure. From the 4-3, we got some fast defensive ends that are all over the quarterback. But, again, that's life in the SEC.
Yeah, and I know that we're talking to Coach Ed Orgeron here on Off the Bench, and I know there's no contact yet, and so line evaluation remains very tough at this point. But anything you see on either the O-line or the D-line that jumped out to you yesterday?
I like the cohesiveness of the offensive line. It looks like they've been working very, very strong, very hard in the summer. Darren Rosenthal looked as good as he did when we were practicing for the bowl, which he had some great practices. Ed Ingram, Leon was making the calls. Chason, Austin didn't practice yesterday. He's going to be out for a little bit. But I think that for the most part, the offensive line looked very well.
Coach, so if you just look at the news cycle recently, it's been a little up and down, right? I mean, we all felt kind of doom and gloom a week ago. I think everybody's feeling more positive today. Practice starting, schedule released. Are you sensing that out of the players? Do they have a little juice right now? Are they getting fired up?
Yeah, a little pep in their step, I call it. everybody's got pep in the step around there. Everybody's feeling good, and obviously, we didn't sit around waiting for it, but when we got the schedule, everybody's excited. We didn't talk about it because anytime, anywhere, we're going to play. But I think that it just goes to show that the SEC is working to play. There's not been a final decision, but as far as I know, they're working as hard as they can to play. But I'm going to let them make that decision. Not a win camp. It's football. It's about X's and O's. It's about technique, stance, alignment, assignment, about effort, and we're not worried about that stuff right now.
Coach Ed Orgeron joining us here, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. You've mentioned Bo a couple of times in this interview. How about some of the other new coaches and getting out there and working alongside them?
Yeah, Scott Linehan, man, he's just doing phenomenal with Steve Ensminger. And, Kevin Falk, man, I tell you what, our running backs ran the ball yesterday. John Emery had some great runs. Tyron Davis-Price and Chris Curry, those are two bulls. Cavante Bradford. I'm really excited about our running game. I think we're even going to be better. I'm not going to say the guys are better than Clyde, but I think our running game is going to be better than it was last year. And then, on defense, our guys are working well together. The defensive line is well coached. And like I said, Manny Michel and Christian Lacouture and Bill Johnson doing a great job. So very pleased with our coaches.
Have we reached the point in camp yet where the coaches are kind of chirping at each other?
Oh, yeah. Ensminger comes in to me and said, hey, man, you didn't tell me about this new blitz you sent in. And then he said it wasn't a new blitz. And then, that's part of camp, and everybody's happy before camp, and everybody wants to beat each other up. And then after camp, everybody makes up, and it's one team, one heartbeat.
Absolutely. Couple from your listeners, Coach. Ray Thornton, you've mentioned Ray Thornton a couple of times in the offseason. How have you seen him transition into the linebacker?
Yeah, he's flying around, doing well. Bo likes him. I'm really excited about Damone Clark, Michael Baskerville, and Jabril Cox. Man, those guys are doing well. Antoine Sanford, Josh White showed up. Devontae Lee showed his skills. So, Bo's going to do a great job with those linebackers. We're in great shape at linebackers.
Todd Harris, you get your first look at him on the field, Coach, after the injury. How's your safety looking out there?
Yeah, looking good. Minimal work for Todd. Still a little swelling in his knee. We're still protecting him. We're bringing him along, but it's great to have him back.
Coach, great leaders follow a podcast in the YouTube chat. Ask Coach O, with Deculus out for a little bit, who is working at right tackle?
We got Bunker Somerville working at right tackle. He's doing a great job out there. We moved Charles Turner out there working at right. Yeah, so those guys, they're doing good. Young guys that are doing well, filling in. And again, Austin's going to be our starter, but those guys are going to be able to provide depth in the rotation. So this is good for us. So
Charles Turner, Coach, it kind of feels like y'all are making him into a bit of a swing man. Is he cross training in a lot of different spots right now?
Mm-hmm. Now he's coming along. Now Charles is 275 pounds. He came to us about 230. Jimmy did a great job of recruiting him. So here's a guy that's smart. He can play right tackle. He can play center. We're looking forward to him. We moved Joe Evans to guard.
Okay.
Joe Evans is behind Chason Hines at right guard, and he's showing a lot of promise. I tell you, the young guy that's showing is Xavier Hill. The coaches really like him. He's a second-team left tackle. Big Scooter was from Olive Branch, Mississippi. He's showing some good things as a young player. I'll tell you, one of the top plays of the day yesterday was Max Johnson. Max Johnson kept the ball around the right end and went for about 80.
Wow.
Max is about 6'5", but he's got unbelievable speed and a great athlete. TJ Finley made some good throws. Miles made some good throws. So, again, there's a lot of players doing a lot of good things yesterday.
All right, you got an 8 a.m. team meeting coming up, so 2 more quick ones, and I'll get you out of here. You mentioned recruiting, and yesterday you dip into a rival's backyard and get a position of need on day one of fall practice. How is the schedule working with recruiting and getting your team prepared?
Doing great. Colin and Derek and those guys are still recruiting for us all day. They texting guys. They're on the Twitter machine. And just this 2022 class is turning out to win number one in the country right now. It's turning out to be a phenomenal class. That just goes to show you the work that our guys have done on the young players.
And one more, Coach, last one. Meat Market to this day is still my favorite book of all time. The author, Bruce Feldman, is coming out with a new book, Flip the Script, on Ed Orgeron and the LSU Tigers. He announced it last night on Twitter. Can you just talk about the relationship you have with Feldman and the access you allowed him again into seeing your program and put that out into a book?
Bruce is somebody I trust, and he spent a year with me at Ole Miss on meat market. Now the COVID really helped us write the book because I had a lot of time, so I would sit on my porch out here, and Bruce and I talked for hours, and me and him went through the whole book. I told him everything from A to Z that I know about my life. I think the guys are going to like it. It's inspirational. Hopefully it helps somebody out to see my personal life, the things that I had to overcome, and all the great chances and all the great people that I got to meet. And I'm very grateful. So I think there's a book that's going to be inspirational and people are going to like it.
Absolutely. One team, one heartbeat. LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron every Tuesday with us, and a team meeting coming up at 8 a.m. to get his group ready for the fall. Thank you as always, Coach.
Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There he is, Coach O checking in. We'll close out hour one next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Roxy Daly here on Off the Bench by All-Star Toyota. Remember, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge is located on the corner of Goodwood and Airline, where they've been since 2005. Right now, 0% APR for 72 months on Toyota Camrys, up to 60 months of 0% APR on Toyota Corollas. All great selections, new car inventory, used and pre-owned and certified inventory. Great selections for you over at All-Star Toyota. Check them out online at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Go to the website if you want to kind of start your car buying process there. If you're like me, you could get overwhelmed by all that because you don't really, you just don't know cars, okay? And that's why I love the staff over there at All-Star Toyota. Shout out to my guy Richard who just guided me to exactly what I was looking for. The Toyota Sienna, they customized it all black just like I wanted. It was an incredible process beginning to end. allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. The full SEC schedule has been released. We will dissect it all on Tuesday's AFR. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, that was good stuff from Ed Orgeron here as Coach getting ready for a 8 a.m. team meeting here on day 2 of fall drills as LSU opened up camp yesterday, gave reaction to the announcement last night of the schedule being published by the Southeastern Conference, also gave his thoughts on Kerry Vincent Jr. opting out of his senior season and who was up next. Gave some insight on the offensive line and the depth there and some of the standouts here early on. Marcus Dumerville, Xavier Hill getting some run with Austin Deculus taking a couple of days off of practice there early, as the coach told you. If you missed it, it's always online at 1045ESPN.com. It'll be up on our YouTube station on Off the Bench that you need to subscribe and get notified for any type of content that is going on there. OTB Mailbag coming up at 8:15. We still need some mailbag questions. Just drop the hashtag.
YouTube chat not coming through so far. Come on, YouTube chat. I know you're in there.
OTB Mailbag. I see a couple of coming in here over the last couple of minutes, so we'll make sure and get those.
My bad. I spoke too soon. The commercial break's been good to it.
We will we'll make sure and get those up. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, Derek Stingley Sr. is going to stop by here at 8 o'clock. He's a regular on Tuesdays now. And then Nick Underhill, who's also a regular on Tuesdays at 8:30, talking New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton had some extended press time yesterday. Drew Brees. We'll give you that sound coming up in the second hour. But I'm just sitting here reading the latest on Dick Vitale's Twitter, who is up and tweeting already this morning at 7 a.m. celebrating Rick Pitino being back at Iona, as Pitino or Vitale tweeted, yes, at Rick Pitino is back, baby, doing what he loves, teaching and motivating. His goal is to make Iona the Gonzaga of the East, as Vitale tweets this morning at 7 a.m. And I couldn't help but yesterday be spurred by his tweet that he put out at 10:40 a.m. saying that the LSU notice of allegations is in a process right now called the Independent Resolution Panel over at the NCAA. That LSU has the right to request a study of the information from an investigation. It will take time when finished, but the notice of allegations will arrive. Sources say, no doubt, level 1 major charges will be there.
Hey, dude, it's a process. Okay, it's a complicated process, and
can let
every time they don't show up.
Let the record state the debate between Vitale and I has never been since day one. You can go back to the first time that Vitale stopped by Off the Bench. Has never been a difference of opinion or a fight whether or not LSU was going to receive allegations or a notice of allegations.
Or whether or not LSU did anything wrong.
It has been the irresponsible reporting by one of the faces of college basketball and the irresponsibility that ESPN has allowed this guy to get away with on Twitter is insane. It's ridiculous. Have you ever seen one character lose so much credibility in one season like you've seen Vitale do just in a social media age? I'm telling you, 16 months ago, I thought of Dick Vitale as this character that loved basketball, had this big personality, and since social media and him being on Twitter, I can't stand the guy. Forget the LSU stuff. I mean, he can't help himself but to just speak up on things that don't make a lot of sense for him even to voice on. I don't get why every time he feels like he's got to voice his opinion on LSU, but nobody else, and follow up the LSU tweet 10 hours later with a support for Rick Pitino, nobody in his camp can tell him, hey, old man, you look like an idiot. You look like a moron. I mean, for as much as you want people to love you and celebrate you in all of your Hall of Fames, you're going to look this stupid out here? And Dale Brown called me the last time I brought up the rumors on where it was coming from, and he wanted an apology on why I didn't call him first before I said that. And that's fine. I apologize. But somebody needs to get to Dick Vitale. If you're his friend, somebody needs to shut him down. I mean, the fact that he's out there saying that he's moving the goalpost on LSU again, this is the third time I can count from a public standpoint that he's done that from his own social media account. I mean, when is it enough? We get it. You think that LSU is cheating. We understand it. You got it out for Will Wade and the LSU basketball program. You have made that clear, but you look like a moron the more you tweet and the more the things that don't happen around LSU. It's debatable on whether or not LSU is going to receive that notice of allegations. I'm not out here stomping my feet and slamming my fists on the desk saying that they're not. What I am saying is that you look like a fool, Dick Vitale. And the fact that nobody close to you has told you that, to just shut up. Just shut up. And just let it play out. If LSU's going to get the notice of allegations, let them get served the notice of allegations. Until then, put the Twitter down, bro. Like, what are you doing? You look like a fool. And yesterday I was pleading, somebody from ESPN needs to step in. I mean, shut him down. Hour 2, your mailbag questions, 8:15 this morning. Off the bench, All-Star Toyota.
If these mics weren't attached to arms, you could drop it on the floor and walk out this room right now.
Off the bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily here by Ochsner. Remember, over at Ochsner, you can get in touch with Dr. Jeremy Burnham here in Baton Rouge, who is heading up the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute, locations New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Covington. Their team of sports medicine specialists are equipped with unparalleled depth of experience. Whether you're a professional athlete, a weekend warrior, an ancient athlete, or somewhere in between, the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute has what you need to get you back in the game as quickly and as safely as possible. Online, ochsner.org.
Ochsner.org, Ochsner.org. Yes, so if injury strikes, the doctors that you all have access to are second to none. The physical therapy facilities are truly spectacular, y'all. It's the same type of facilities that professional teams around the world use, Sage, Pelicans, everybody. But what about getting bigger and stronger and faster without an injury? Ochsner Performance Training is there for you else. You want to maximize your potential? You want to train like the pros? Go to Ochsner.org today.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month, or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month, or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Tuesday, August 18th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 96. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. Still to come, Derek Stingley Sr. joins the show next. Nick Underhill talks Saints at 8:30, and the Athletics' Brody Miller will be here at 9:30. We also have our OTB mailbag today. Get your questions in. Tweet them or ask them in the YouTube chat using the hashtag OTB mailbag, and we'll get them answered at 8:15. Follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch live at the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the Off the Bench channel. Set your notifications for new content posted daily. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hour 2 off and added off the bench, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge, driven and powered by All-Star Toyota, up until 10 a.m. every day. Jordy Collada, T-Bob Hebert, Matthew Musso, Danny Cardenas here with you. Hour 1 in the books. Ed Orgeron was here at 7:30. Coach was given his impact or his reaction to the schedule that was announced yesterday afternoon by the Southeastern Conference. Tiger's gonna open up in Baton Rouge versus Mike Leach, Mississippi State. 8:30, we'll talk New Orleans Saints with Nick Underhill coming up on OTB. Derek Stingley Sr. is a regular here on Tuesday mornings, presented by City Cafe, our good friends. Where good friends meet over there on O'Neill and George O'Neill, serving boiled shrimp daily. Got oysters to choose from. Great lunch specials every day. City Cafe, br.net, online. Hit them on social media.
So good. So good. I mean, they've been around for over 100 years, man.
Coach Stingley is the defensive backs coach over at the Dunham School. His son, Derek Stingley Jr., the best defender in college football. Put the helmets and shells on yesterday. Some one-on-ones coming out of Jamar Chase and Stingley. Love to talk about those battles. Coach Sting is here with us. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Media is banned from practice, or dads?
No, not really. Coach O has an open door policy for family members.
I bet they do. No inside information, nothing that you can't report. Just tell me what you saw that stood out, I guess, that from 30,000 feet.
Actually, I wasn't there yesterday.
Wow.
The Dunham School, we had practice yesterday. So I just heard what was going on from Derek. I talked with him later on that night.
What's his point of view about getting back onto the field?
Excited because now they're actually doing football things, outside of just walkthroughs and a lot of meetings. But now they get to do naturally one-on-ones that everyone saw on social media, 7-on-7 team stuff. So now they can compete more and put everything together on the defense side of the ball from what they've been learning from Coach Pelini.
What'd you make of the schedule?
Oh man, I was glad that it was released. Great that we got, in my opinion. I'm not saying there's no softballs in the SEC, but we got some warm-up games before we really get into it. So that's pretty good to know that, not to say that we just go in there and dominate, but we should win those first couple of games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the first three pre-Florida, definitely winnable games. But the Mississippi State one is interesting, just given that it's going to be Mike Leach. It's going to be the Mike Leach passing attack, and obviously Derek is going to play a huge role in trying to shut that down. From a coach's perspective, what do you think it's like preparing for a team that has a brand new coach, a new quarterback that you don't really have film on, at least not Mississippi State film?
Right. Well, what you do is naturally you have to go back and figure out the offensive coordinator, wherever he was the previous year, watch his concepts, see what he likes to do in certain situations, third down, short yardage, coming out, big plays. And then from there, it's you already know the personnel because the mass majority of the personnel was there last year when they all were playing them in 2019. So you just got to glue it and piece it together and then make it make sense because most of the times, coordinators, they are who they are. They're going to do what they're comfortable doing because they have success over the years with certain plays and certain situations. So from a coach standpoint, you basically just go off of that, and then with the personnel, you just have to look at what they did the previous year on, what type of athlete they are, if they're good at run blocking, if this is their better route. These are the things you just got to be prepared for.
Derek Stingley Sr. joining us here, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. As a defensive backs coach, just as a coach and approach, you see Jamar Chase on film. How do you defend him?
It's tough because he's physical. He's going to create space, and Jamar, he's one of those receivers where he really enjoys the DB to be up on him to where it can be more so power against power. If the DB doesn't have real good strength, Jamar's going to get open. And Jamar gets open even with space. He's the best college wide receiver that there is right now, and he could have easily been in the first round this past year as well. So with that, you just gotta have a little patience. You probably got to stay up top on him a little bit more, drive downhill on the shorter balls, make him have to, beat you with his route running instead of in a short area where he can create that mismatch by getting you off of you, getting you off of him. I'm sorry, to the point where now you're in a compromised situation because now you're out leveraged because he's going to get you away from where he's trying to go. And it's tough. It's tough. And these are talks that I have with Derek about not just Jamar, but anyone that he's going up against. And the battles that they've had, they've been epic. And, just to see the ones that was out on social media yesterday, it's some vicious one-on-one play between those two. But sometimes it becomes 2 against 1 because I think Miles dropped the ball in like right over the shoulder of Jamar, which was a great catch, great cover, great route, all the above. But it's going to be that way. It's going to be, two alphas going at it to where what do we want as fans? Do we want Jamar to catch every ball? And then what do they say about Derek? Do you want Derek to deflect or intercept every ball? Then what do they say about Miles or Jamar?
Yeah.
So from the LSU standpoint, you just got to sit back and enjoy it because these are what make those players better when they have these type of battles.
It is the absolute example of iron sharpening iron.
Yeah, 100%. And as you just alluded to, Coach, and this is kind of it might be a dumb question, but I want to get a defensive backs coach perspective on it, and that is the role of the quarterback in all of this. Because you're absolutely right. Like, Derek makes Miles far better. He makes those windows smaller. He pushes his accuracy. So when you're game playing, like, how much of a role can the quarterback play? Can you have perfect coverage and the quarterback just beats you?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, that ball can just be put in a perfect place to where it can be almost like a 50-yard handoff. the receiver did everything right. The DB, he did everything right. And it's just that the ball placement was just perfect to the point where there was nothing that the defensive back could do. And if Miles is seeing that a lot against Derek and Cordell and Eli and Jay and Ray Darius, I mean, it's making him better as well. It's making him have to make sure that he's putting the ball to where only his receiver can get it and not the defender. And that's good for all three parties involved from every point of view. So it's a good thing that Miles is seeing that, and it's a good thing that the receivers and the DBs are doing what they're doing now to make sure that we're probably one of the better teams in the SEC and ready to go come September 26th.
When you saw the news of Kerry Vincent opting out for his senior season, who was the first guy you thought of that was next up?
Oh man, Todd always came into my mind because they were kind of the same player last year until Todd got hurt. But then Mo Hampton, because he can do those things too. Mo can play in space, and Mo can also play man to man because he was a corner in high school. And Mo is physical, so he brings a different element to that nickel position if that's what it's going to be. But then I'm pretty sure they're going to switch things up. They may have a nickel cover guy and a nickel safety. So when I say nickel cover guy, it could be any one of the corners. It can be Jay Ward. It could be Ray Darius. It could be Cordell. It could be Eli. It could be Derek, for all we know. And then if you want to go with just a true safety, now you could put in Mo Hampton, or you could put in Todd, and you have that flexibility because those guys, they're all good, and they're all good for what they can do. And the good thing about it is Pelini gets the opportunity to mix things up and create some mismatches against certain offenses.
When you see Vincent play, what are the things he does good that translates to maybe the next level?
Naturally, his speed. His speed is off the charts. He could bait some throws. I know he had a few catches caught against him last year, but some of that was leverage and scheme. But the kid, this is another guy that was a corner coming out of high school, and then he was forced or placed to have to play nickel and some off leverage coverage that kind of went against him. But he has good range. He can get from sideline to sideline if he has to go back and play at the safety position. He's a great blitzer. I don't know how many times we've seen him in the backfield over the years throughout his career at LSU. So, I think it's going to translate to the NFL, and I think he's going to test off the charts when he goes to the combine. So that's going to wow every NFL team. So you can't teach speed. He has that, and then you have to take that because you can always teach him a different scheme or different technique. But if you got that God-given speed that what Kerry has, that's unteachable, and NFL guys look for that.
One of the things that looks like Derek has naturally that I know that you've instilled in him since he's been a kid is his mental ability to kind of just play down in, down out, forget the last play the next play, and onto the game. I ask you this wondering, does he have any motivation this year? Does he have a game? Does he have a player? Does he have anybody that he's looking forward to more in particular? Or do you answer that in the public?
He has motivation. I think we all know about the motivation that
Speedy Smith? Devontae Smith?
Well, put it this way. He knows he's going to get everyone's best.
Yep.
And it's not just game day. It's also practice.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to actually understand that, dial in a little bit more, be ready. He can't take a play off, those things. And yeah, he does have I'm gonna forget about this next play. I'm gonna forget about this play and move on to the next play mentality. But he is still human, to where he knows that he has some pressures on him to be a certain guy, and he's a perfectionist. He hates to fail. But the good thing about Derek is, he don't really make the same mistake twice. Once he learns it, once he gets it, he kind of gets by it. And those are the conversations that him and I have. It's like, okay, how do I get through this? And I always make him talk it out. Okay, what did you do? Or what did the receiver do? Or was it the throw? Or tell me about the middle of the route. Why did you do this? And then he started talking out. Then he said, oh, yeah, that, that's not going to happen again. And I say, correct. That's how you coach yourself. That's how you get yourself better. You look at yourself. You scout yourself. You have to do things differently. You can't just go up there and just assume just because you've been good for so long that you can just go up there and just go through the motions and win every route. You have to come with a whole nother set of tools at times just to become that guy that's special. You know, he has that in him. So, you know, he just got to dial in just a little bit more and understand that he's getting everyone's best, no matter it's practice or game.
Yeah, and to Coach Stingley's point, I mean, just look at last season. Alabama gets him with that fake look over, right? And then Ole Miss tried it, I think, 2 weeks later, and it didn't work at all. So, yeah, never make the same mistake twice.
The only unanimous freshman All-American in program history and in college football history on the defensive side of the ball, Derek Stingley Jr., his father, Derek Stingley Sr., with us every Tuesday, presented by City Cafe. Enjoy the oysters, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Will do. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys later.
Always.
Coach.
There he is, Coach Stingley, checking in from the Dunham School this morning. As he told you, that's pretty surprising. As a lot of the practices were out there, you see Jimmy Chase and Coach Stingley standing there. But
I wish we would have. I mean, we probably could have asked him about like what the LA, what that all looks like currently. But we got time before the season starts. We can address that.
That's right. All right, your mailbag questions next.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Coy's Diesel brings you off the bench daily here. Remember, if you drive a light, medium, or heavy-duty diesel truck, Coy's Diesel is ready for you this morning. You can actually just log online and schedule a service appointment. If you need 24-hour roadside assistance, if you're on the side of the road and you need Coy's Diesel to get to you, they have the 24-hour roadside towing that they can get to you, move it back to the shop, and make the repair online, coysdiesel.com.
647-3699. If you want to save that number in your phone, okay, if you have a diesel vehicle, and no matter when you break down, you got a SOS, you need that help right there. Like Jordy said, side of the road, 225-647-3699. Coy is spelled C-O-Y. So go to coysdiesel.com if you want to go check out the site for yourself. And look, whether you got a Chevy, GMC Duramax, a Cummins, a Power Stroke, it doesn't matter. Year, make, model, they have it all. You can navigate the site very easily, find the exact parts that you need. You need financing, anything. It's all right there at your fingertips. coysdiesel.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments.
As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Yacht and Ben Mintz. The guys are live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street to recap the SEC football schedule release and more. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, really looking forward to that Coach Stingley segment throughout the year. It'll be great insight, especially once football gets up and gets going. He'll be able to show off his knowledge and break down. He's got really good insight on not only the roster, but he can talk ball with just about anybody, man. He's as good as they come. And Coach Stingley, we appreciate all of our friends over at City Cafe, Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk, and the crew over there for helping us out with setting up that conversation each week with Coach Stingley, who's over at the Dunham School with Neil Weiner and that program as the Dunham School gets prepared for another high school football season. Your mailbag questions every Tuesday here on Off the Bench. At 8:30 this morning, we're going to talk to Nick Underhill. Underhill will come through with the latest on the New Orleans Saints. Saints off today, as they had the pads on yesterday, so we'll get some storylines, some weird tweets from Alvin Kamara coming out. You see this, Danny? You seen this, T?
I retweeted this yesterday, but I did not follow up. Just where he said, what did he say? Like,
sorry in advance.
Yeah, sorry in advance, and then tweeted about. Well, the replies were hilarious too. A lot of the Jordan Peele sweating memes going around from Saints fans, which I really like.
And then he backed out of his bank. I saw where he did
I not see that? I saw him tweeting about the next thing I saw was...
See his tweet, Danny, to Bank of America, where he tweeted at Bank of America, you had your chance, but you missed out. Good riddance. I don't know what happened with him with and I hope it's Bank of America. Yeah, look. Well, Bank of America, it was cool bang with y'all, but y'all blew it.
Wait, hold on. Sean Payton responded. What did Payton say? Come to Whitney with me. Come to Whitney with me, dude.
Okay, if there's one thing I've learned throughout this entire pandemic, it's Sean Payton is a Twitter genius.
Look at Kamara.
Dude, he is so good.
He's tweeting back at him. You getting kicked back on referrals? Zach Streif responded. Keep going down.
Is this Teron Armstead's fault? Teron Armstead, let me make some calls. Oh, man, everybody very – okay, so that feels like it's nothing bad for the Saints as far as they're concerned. But it does seem like BOA may have dropped the bag with Kamara. Yeah, I guess you could say that Sean Payton is super twitty.
He's yeah.
This guy.
All right.
I'm back.
Can we get him on the radio, for God's sakes?
One day.
Your mailbag questions, 8:15 every week here on Off the Bench.
One day we will.
Special delivery! I have this
Maybe.
special delivery for
No guarantees.
And look, it is
I'm still around. Probably not.
They'll be writing to
Potentially.
you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
Come to Whitney.
That's great,
With me.
What
OTB
did you
mailbag.
That's good.
If Dickie V wanted to come on OTB again and discuss this with Jordy, would y'all welcome the debate?
Hell
Yeah,
of course.
dude. Yeah.
Kidding me?
And so would Dick.
Open invite. Well, I don't know though. They've actually.
I think they've kind of they put the wall up.
They finally shut us out a little
but
bit.
like I've always said, Vital can't stand on the sidelines and watch the parade go by without being on a float. If you just tease him enough, he'll get on a float.
Like a moth to the flame.
Absolutely.
Can't help himself.
Absolutely.
OTB mailbag, last song you cranked in the car.
Oof.
Okay. So just randomly yesterday, it's that weekend song, "Blinding Lights," that got famous on TikTok with the dad and the two sons dancing. It's got that great '80s vibe to it. You know what I'm talking about?
I do not know what that is.
It's like, I don't know. It's just like a kind of a fun little boppy type of song. But yeah.
WAP.
Wow. Like WAP, 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 WAP. That one? I make it right?
How about you, Dan?
It was a good day by Ice Cube.
Oh, Danny feeling himself on the drive home yesterday.
Good song.
Moose?
I don't remember what the last song I listened to was this morning.
Next
but
question.
It was that one.
Next question.
It's the Red Sox. He listened to watching the Red Sox lose to the Yankees for the 10th time in a row, which is the longest streak since 1953.
Definitely didn't listen to Dirty Water. I've not heard that song in a while. It's their victory song, in case anyone.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
That's why I explained it. No inside jokes here, right? OTB Mailbag, who at the station has the most office drama?
What a terrible question to answer on air.
Right? Go for it, T. All you. No, they actually specifically asked you.
I would say that I am fully removed from office drama because we are here when nobody is here, and then we kind of get out of here before we deal with people. Jordy would be more in it than I am.
You know, every time I look up, Blaine Besh is in the middle of all the gossip. It seems like Besh is really kind of the instigator
He's always
around
back
here.
in that office, feet kicked up, chatting away.
He's either not working or gossiping.
OTB Mailbag.
Flynn Foster's he starts a lot of stuff.
Hey, the president, man.
Yeah.
What life-changing item can you buy for less than $100?
Life-changing item I can buy for $100.
Ooh, I may have to circle back around to this, but if I'm thinking off the top of my head.
Life-changing item I can get for less than $100, a Powerball ticket?
Okay, this is okay, there you go.
No.
Technically a great
That's
answer.
A chance, I guess, but yeah.
Okay, so I don't know about life-changing, but just something that popped into my head. I have one of those poached egg inserts for like a pan. So poaching an egg can be kind of hard, but it's an unbelievably delicious way to eat an egg. And this is just a simple little thing that you put in there, and you boil the water underneath, and it just makes perfect poach. Like anybody can make up to, I think it's like 10 or maybe a dozen delicious poached eggs at one time.
On that same thing, you know that pineapple core where you just stick it through the middle and cut the end off?
I haven't seen
that. You
that.
go down and you just pull the whole thing out.
Wow.
And it leaves like it's fantastic.
It's like making a golf hole.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Danny?
For me, probably a blender. I use a blender a lot.
Yeah. Smoothies.
I guess we all just went kitchen. There's something else out there. Well, circle back to me and I'll have a better answer as I think
James
about them.
Rabelais, life-changing under $100, a condom.
Great answer. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
OTB Mailbag is Danny chewing gum.
Dan?
I chew gum on the regular. I mean, it helps me focus. Like, it helps me stay alert, I feel like. So I always have gum whenever I have.
Who are you, Veruca Salt? Is that the Willy Wonka character?
What was the last one?
Is she the gum chewer? No, the kid that watches TV's the gum chewer, right?
No, that's Mike TV. It is the girl who chews gum, but I don't know if it's
Veruca's the rich one that ends up going down the goose chute.
She was a bad egg.
Yeah, she was a bad egg. Great movie. I like Gene Wilder.
Michael inside the YouTube chat app. I drive around blaring Hanny's COVID rant.
Hey, there you go. Play the hits. OTB Mailbag, you've just died and you're about to enter heaven where everyone knows everybody's past. Before you enter, you can hide one thing from your story. What will it be? I'm not going to tell you that. You kind of have to wait to find out.
I'm not going to tell you in
public. Can you say this on air?
If you usually have to ask that question beforehand, it's a
the
no.
M word that involves something that you do to yourself. Maybe you do it chronically.
Pleasure?
Yes, maybe you do it chronically. Maybe you do it a bit too much. I probably don't want anybody realizing how much I do that.
I don't know if you've made that big of a secret on the air.
I'm just saying.
That week that Caitlin went out of town for a week with the kid, he couldn't get out of here fast enough. He was sprinting through that open door.
Looked a little big, huh?
Yeah,
like Quagmire in that episode where he discovers the internet and he comes out and his right arm is just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, look, man. Yeah, exactly. But even as public as I've been, that's still something I don't want you to know the depths of it. I don't at all. I hide that for everybody.
Next question.
OTB Mailbag, can T-Bob do a good challenge every Friday during football season?
Absolutely he can.
No,
he can. He's here for your entertainment. You send the challenges in, people, and we will make sure that they're executed.
I am down for challenges because I am a dancing monkey, and I will do stuff for like subscriber count and subscriber goals.
There you go.
But not just every Friday. Not
Get us to 15,000 people. See what happens.
I think you should do the cinnamon challenge.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Well, there is some stuff that maybe it is actually dangerous, but like I did it in college. It's It's not worth it. I mean, all it is like you're going to put the cinnamon in your mouth and you're just immediately going to start coughing up like dust. It's, yeah. I saw a guy, Tommy Parsons, though, complete psychopath. I saw him swallow it in college. No problem. Actually did it. No idea how to this day.
Oh, he ruined his insides.
I may have also seen this man allegedly at one point like chug an entire fifth of liquor in one go.
Ooh, Parsons?
Maybe it was. I don't know.
You got an update on him? Is he still alive?
My memory's getting brown. I will say that after I witnessed a person do that, it was like a master class in watching how alcohol affects the body because they were sober going in, and over the next 20 minutes,
you just saw it.
It was just, the body got looser, the face went a little slack jaw. It was terrible. Do not ever, ever, ever do that, kids.
One more. Favorite YouTube channel other than your own?
Oh, dude, I have been very into the Kevin James YouTube channel lately. Y'all have heard me talk about it. I don't know if I'm just becoming a dad. I love Jablinski Games, which is Jack Black as well, but I think I'm just getting old because Kevin James' YouTube channel does a bunch of short, funny skits. It cracks me up, dude. I love it. I've been watching constantly.
I don't know if I have a favorite channel because I always just kind of search and I get lost in the searches. So if I search a topic, I'll look at the sidebar, and the next thing you know, I'm 2 hours in.
Yeah.
So I don't have a station for you. The sports throwbacks are kind of my go-to.
Again, Jablinski Games with Jack Black is also pretty awesome. I just like seeing these like super famous people who you rarely kind of get looks behind the curtain, and then now they're running their own station, their own content, and so they're they get to kind of put their own messages out there. Jack Black seems just as awesome as I thought.
Dan, you search YouTube?
I like this guy called KTO. I don't know if y'all heard of him. He makes these like sports videos, like what happened to this player, like where did he go? He does like interesting videos like that.
See, I rarely find myself doing the sports stuff. Do a lot of video game YouTube. Asmongold for WoW, if you're into that, which is pretty cliche.
Athlete in the room you're most curious about. What happened to? Think about it. We come back from the break. Have an answer for me. Off the Bench, powered every day by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily here on OTB. Every single day, we are by Lanoix Insurance Agency. LANOIX agency.com. Get in touch with the boys today about auto insurance, home insurance, business insurance, flood insurance. LANOIX agency.com. You can dial them up at 749-5640. Lanoix Agency, helping you out with your insurance. A great savings point this morning. If you're looking to save, get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David. 749-5640.
749-5640. Go to LanoixAgency.com today. Make the switch like I did a few years back. I've never looked back. And I've never had such a good insurance relationship on multiple fronts. Like, they're actively trying to save me money all the time without me lifting a finger. They did it earlier this year, saved me hundreds of dollars. I didn't do anything. They just brought it to me. They customize plans to match your specific needs. You can bundle your home and auto. You can get that flood insurance. You're a small business owner. They get you protection. And then when you have to file a claim, it's really easy, and it's actually enjoyable. It's not like pulling teeth. They actively work with your best interest at heart. Go to LanoixAgency.com.
Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Yo, join us for a Tuesday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tonda. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour. We'll also be joined by Chris Doring of the SEC Network on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Alvin Kamara Tweetgate has got the studio stumped here. We're getting a little inside information from a New Orleans Saints and Pelicans employee on to what possibly could be happening. But our insider for the Saints is the one and only Nick Underhill, who runs NewOrleans.football, a great follow.
Okay, so Caroline Gonzalez is the broadcasting
Is she okay if we put that out there?
Pelicans. Oh, I mean, yeah, she's not doing
I guess
anything
he is
wrong.
now.
Yeah, she well, no, I mean, look, she's just saying, I don't know what this is, though, that Teron Armstead might have a Bank of America song, and that maybe Kamara was messing with him. I mean, Armstead did hop up in those comments, seeming like a Bank of America representative, so I don't know.
This is a great segue to our Saints insider, Nick Underhill. Nick, did you think that the first questions after padded practice would be explain Alvin Kamara's tweet?
I mean, it's not a huge shock because I get asked to explain his tweets a lot. And I think that he just likes to tweet stuff and watch the world burn around him. And I think he knows that everybody's waiting and reading tea leaves and trying to find a sign that a contract extension is coming. And I think there's even an element of that where he just throws stuff out there. Like, there will be a day he'll tweet like, hey, I got big news. And then, like, he just never tweets anything else. And you know what he's doing. Like, he's just messing with everybody. And I think he just loves to do that. He's sitting in a hotel. He's bored. And if he can make the world burn while he's waiting for the next practice, I think he probably enjoys that.
I kind of like that. Do you have any idea if the Saints are moving to make this happen, but before the season starts or within the year?
I think there's interest to make it happen, but it's a complicated deal to get done just because he probably wants to be valued like Christian McCaffrey. He hasn't had Christian McCaffrey production. The salary cap's dropping to $175 million next year. So it's going to be hard to figure out that middle ground of, you know, he's going to want to get paid as if the cap's increasing to $208 million as it was expected to do. And, you know, you see the deals stack on top of each other and each one has to go above the other one. But now you might go ahead in percentage, but might not go ahead in average annual value. And, you know, the player's going to want the average annual value. The team's going to fight for the percentage. So we're just going to have to see one of these big dominoes fall to kind of set a standard for every deal that comes behind it.
Nick, what about some of the other news coming out of Saints camp yesterday? No, Andrus Peat, supposed hand injury. I know it's always hard to know what's going on in those situations, but have you heard anything on the Peat front and if it's serious or not?
Nothing alarming on the Peat front. You know, I'm a little disappointed he wasn't out there because I've had people telling me for weeks, and I'm sure you guys have seen it everywhere. I mean, pictures came out of him being thinner, and the biggest issue I think with him throughout his career has been his level of fitness. He's been overweight probably since the very first time he showed up to Saints camp in West Virginia and couldn't run 100 yards with the rest of the team at the end of practice. And he fails his conditioning test all the time. And this year he's visibly in shape, which I think is a great sign, especially after he got this huge contract. There's a level of dedication there that, I think it would have been fair to wonder how he reacted to that money, just given that he's never been in great shape. And we don't see him. I mean, I'm sure we will at some point, but that was one of the things kind of, just on my list of things going into practice one to see how he moves. The guy that is injured that, it's a little bit curious. Sean Payton said it's just a tweak. I asked somebody else. They said it was nothing major, but Josh Hill's hurt. They bring in 4 tight ends to work out the next day. That's the situation that I'm kind of watching out a little bit. Out of that list of 4 guys, I think Ethan Wolf from Tennessee, he's probably the most interesting fit. And, just looking at the guys that worked out, he's the one that that screams Saints player to me, but we'll see if they actually sign one. And if they do, then, I'll be more curious if they're hiding something with Josh Hill.
Quick, just because you jog us, Trotman, how's he looked early on? Anything to report there, tight end?
Yeah, so yesterday was kind of a bad practice for especially tight ends, evaluating them. These things are only 90 minutes right now, and the first hour was we walked through one-on-one stuff. And, while the receivers and cornerbacks are doing one-on-one, passing drills, on the other end of the field, there's a running drill, but the tight ends were down there. There was a whole line of people blocking our view, so it was a little bit hard to see. So there wasn't really anything from Troutman that stood out to me, except for he jumped off sides during a team period. But again, those guys only got 5 snaps though. So those are just little snippets, but he's big, he moves well. And, I wish I had a more detailed answer, but it's just, after the first look, he just didn't pop out really either way.
So you mentioned only getting 5 snaps, and that's something that we've talked a lot about on this show is the balance of preparation versus evaluation. And Cesar Ruiz, he is someone who this is a really tough preseason for him. It's truncated, it's odd in many different ways. Do you have an idea of early on, how they're handling, what their vision of the Ruiz, McCoy, Easton kind of dynamic is?
Yeah, I thought he'd be out there playing center on day one just to set a baseline, get a look. He's in pads. Can you do this? But no, he was a guard. Eric McCoy was at center. And the thing that was interesting to me, and I don't know if I'm reading way too much into the way he said this, but Sean Payton said, we'll rotate him in, every couple days, as if McCoy was going to get 2 days and then Ruiz would get a look and then, they can go from there. So I don't know if that means that McCoy's running ahead. I don't know, if Sean, the way he said it was just a little convoluted, and it will be an every other day thing. But, that's probably one of the bigger things at camp. And look, day one, the offensive line, and Pete wasn't in there, but it wasn't just all him. Some of that pressure was coming from the right side. It was bad during the team period. They were getting smoked. I think Breeze dropped back 6 times. He was pressured on 3 different plays. Cam Jordan had 2 of them. David Onyemata had another, and there was a third. But yeah, I mean, it was tough all the way around for the offensive line. So, I'm sure it's just day one stuff, and the offense is always behind the defense early in camp. But I think this year it's going to be pronounced, and I'm curious, how it's going to look by the time they come to week 1 league-wide, really, because it's just harder for offense to get going than defense. And I think we've seen throughout the NFL early in seasons, offenses are lagging. I just think it might be really bad and pronounced this year.
Nick, for whatever this is worth, my interpretation of that Sean Payton soundbite was the exact same as yours. So I feel like maybe McCoy is in the lead right now.
Nick Underhill.
It was curious for sure. It was just I don't know. You would have just said hey, we're going to go eat every other day, but it just was we'll kind of get Ruiz in there now and then. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes tomorrow when they're back at practice. It kind of sucks. They took 1 day of practice and then the next day's off. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I'm just happy that I don't have to go get a job at Home Depot and I can keep talking about football for a living.
NewOrleans.football is where you subscribe and get all the information. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast there as well. You can get them wherever you listen to your podcast. NewOrleans.football. Nick Underhill, who is the author of that site. It seems like Jameis he's been pretty impressive to start. What have you made of Winston?
The thing that stood out the most to me, and it really wasn't even necessarily an on-the-field thing, his personality just kind of radiates, and you can even feel it on the sideline. There was a thing during the one-on-ones where Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's calling himself Speedy Deuce. I don't know what we're calling him, but Chauncey Gardner-Johnson / Speedy Deuce jammed Emmanuel Butler. And, like, the play was basically done. And Jameis just kind of started yelling out, hey, keep going, keep going. I have a good offensive line. And, the play keeps going, and he hits him down the field on a fade. And just, the players watching it, like, kind of erupted a little bit. And it was one of the more exciting moments of, the practice. And just to see him kind of take the lead early on like that. And there's a lot of stuff that, people are talking about him, just the way he carries himself as a person. And I don't want to say this to be messed up, but if you don't know anything about Jameis Winston, the reputation, the things you hear about him, he's not a person that you naturally are going to very easily like. He's going to have to win you over, and he's winning people over like crazy. I mean, he learns everybody's name, and I'm not talking about just like the teammates, like the people doing coronavirus tests in the trailer, all the workers on the facility, like, he talks to them, he knows their names. It's a personal touch, and that might be a weird thing to point out, but I think if you're trying to build leadership and get a team to buy into you and you're a quarterback, that's a very important thing to do. And, Jameis is doing a really good job of just winning people over. And then on the field, you just see it. They're throwing side by side. And if you break it down like frame by frame, and there's some videos on the Saints Twitter where you can do this, like his release is considerably faster than the other guys. You see his arm strength on these passes when they're throwing back to back, during warm-ups on the field. There's a zip on his pass that just other guys don't have. And, he hit a corner out to Traquan Smith over P.J. Williams yesterday. That was just probably one of the most incredible passes I've seen just from a placement arm strength stance, at Saints camp. And that's not like a knock on Drew Brees. It's like Jameis is a much better natural athlete. It's the mental stuff that's held him back. So we'll see how that goes. He had an interception yesterday, threw a ball a little high. It was to a UDFA. He got his hands on it. He probably should have caught the ball. That was just one mistake. But, I think the early signs are good. It's just, as you go through these rigors and he keeps getting these mental tests, it's going to be how many does he pass and can he eliminate these mistakes?
NewOrleans.football. You will not find a site with more information, better information on the Saints than NewOrleans.football. You can get a report of that every Tuesday morning at 8:30 from Nick Underhill, who is in charge of all of the content there. Subscribe to the podcast. Make sure and sign up for the site at NewOrleans.football and tune in every Tuesday to get the latest right here from Underhill. Thank you as always. Enjoy the day off.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always. We'll close at hour 2 next.
Thanks, Nick.
Off the bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota brings you OTB Daily here. Remember, online, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Stop in and see them. They're on the corner of Goodwood and Airline, where they've been since 2005. They've got great selections over there, whether it's brand new cars, certified or pre-owned inventory. If you want to lease a vehicle or rent a car, they can get that done for you today at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. Remember, All-Star Toyota is a part of the All-Star family. That's 13 brands, 11 locations around the capital city in South Louisiana. Online, allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com.
All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. They help bring you this show each and every day. And so if you like the show, you'll probably love them as well. And so go see Aaron and Lee and Richard and everybody else over there at All-Star Toyota. Help them guide you to your new vehicle. Remember, the All-Star family does have over 13 brands here in Baton Rouge. They've been at it for nearly 40 years here as well. But yeah, I got my brand new Toyota Sienna, and it's been incredible, man. It's all thanks to All-Star. Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van?
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. The full SEC schedule has been released. We will dissect it all on Tuesday's AFR. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, good show today. Appreciate Ed Orgeron for stopping in. We talked to Derek Stingley Sr. at the top of the second hour, and we heard from Nick Underhill last segment on the New Orleans Saints. All of that can be featured on the on-demand section. Remember, all that's brought back to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Make sure and subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube page, as the Coach O interview will be up here in about an hour or so for you to get to and watch there, and we'll get you all of our content throughout the day. Stick around hour 3, T-Bob with OTBOT. I know
going to the source, Jordy.
I know I'll be tuned in as our guy Sir Yacht has been found. He has been tracked down, and he will be a guest in the third hour of OTB.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I'll explain it more. So he's going to come on at 9:30. He's getting a haircut. But I will explain more in the 9:15 segment. We got Brody Miller coming on at 9 to talk schedule with me, as me and him will record the Hold That podcast later today. But which you should definitely subscribe to and go check out because it's awesome. But yeah, 9:15, I'll break down Sir Yacht. But what you should know is he is the man at the center of a lot of these rumors about the Big Ten maybe coming back. And granted, he is, he's like a very young kid. We'll kind of get his backstory. Seems like just like a random college kid, but he's been right on some things, and a lot of stuff that he was talking about early on. Now there's other more verified, more kind of long tenured journalistic voices coming out and saying the same thing. For instance, he was very early on that there was no vote in the Big Ten. And that is something that is being kind of put out there and corroborated now at this point. So, look, I don't know if Sir Yacht is a false prophet. I don't know if he is John the Baptist. But we will try to figure out. I just want to preface it with this because I know some of y'all are going to come and be like, you're giving this guy a stage and he could be trolling, could be doing all this. Okay, it's sports, so nothing really matters. It's just fun.
Nobody's saying that.
I mean, it's just fun.
And pay attention. My guy Sir Yacht's got great personality, and if he's right, You heard it here first.
Hey. Actually, do we have that that audio of Sir Yacht Polt? Okay, we'll get that for 9:15 then, and we can knock that out.
All right, we asked a question about 12 minutes ago about athletes that you may be most curious about to what happened to them, whether it was when you were a kid or you just kind of forgotten about. Mine is Tony Moss, wide receiver for LSU. Tommy Hodson's junior and senior year, he was the leading receiver after Wendell Davis, and Tony Moss was 5'9". He was an electric player. He had, he kind of had this sense of every time he touched it, he would score. He had a huge game against Alabama his junior year that made me fall in love with him. He was number 6 in the purple and gold. Tony Moss. And then come to find out, you Google his name, guess who's got an updated interview with him?
Who?
Who would you think?
Jacques.
Wow.
Jacques interviewed him 2 weeks ago.
JD's been dominating
2 weeks ago, Jacques had him. Who's your athlete, T?
I kind of didn't think about this during the break, but this just popped in my head. I was a big Eric Barkley fan when he was at the St. John's Red Storm, and then in one of the early 2Ks on Dreamcast, I remember I would always used to do fantasy drafts, right, where you would just redraft the entirety of the NBA, and I was super hyped when I drafted Eric Barkley. So I always liked him for some reason.
Moose, so you got
no idea what he's doing now.
Jimmer Fredette.
Hey, I interviewed him in studio a couple times when he was on the Pels back then.
Really?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Jimmer Fredette?
He's probably in a commune somewhere, doing Mormon stuff.
Probably. I mean,
no, actually, I think
the guy
he's actually
took the sports world by storm.
I want to say he's actually playing basketball in China.
Yeah, he's been dominating in China, I think.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
He does good in China, but not in the States.
Hey, hell yeah, dude. I get that money, man. I ain't mad at it.
Now I know.
Do your thing for that. He took the Starbury pass. Another guy who actually that I loved growing up way more than Eric Barkley. Eric Barkley was kind of like a fling. I used to love Stephon Marbury. Thought he was the man. Yeah. Where's Stevie Franchise at?
That's a good one.
I used to rock those Steve Francis shoes back in the day.
Who you got, Danny?
For me, it's Justin Blackman. He was like
wide receiver.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wide
Yeah.
receiver in
Oklahoma
college.
State?
Yeah, Oklahoma
Went to
State.
Jacksonville.
5th overall drafted.
Bald.
Yeah.
He was on their 2011
Two-time
team.
All-American Oklahoma State. Like, didn't do anything in the NFL level. Like, ended up getting like...
He drank himself out the league?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Getting suspended like, multiple times.
Damn.
Like, just wasted talent.
Hour 3, stick around. Sir Yacht, our guy. Pressure's on. Pressure's on the Big Ten.
Stick around.
Off the bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Secure Shredding and Recycling. Secure Shredding and Recycling is a premier provider of document destruction services for individuals, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies. They are online at secureshreddingandrecycling.com. Ask them about their mobile shredding, drop-off shredding, hard drive destruction. Online, secureshreddingandrecycling.com.
Go to secureshreddingandrecycling.com. The local guys, LSU grads, give you better rates than the national guys, but more importantly, give you better service than the national guys, okay? Because that's what it is. They're a services business. They're there to serve your document destruction needs. And that's why they make it as convenient as possible for you. They have trucks they can bring on site to destroy stuff with. They have drop-off points in Baton Rouge and New Orleans, coming soon to Alexandria, where you can just drop off your stuff. They can also load it up, take it back to their warehouse, which is incredibly impressive and has many pieces of heavy machinery. Go to secureshreddingandrecycling.com, secureshreddingandrecycling.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, August 18th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 96. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Brought to you by Carriages. Coming up on OTB/OT, the Athletics' Brody Miller joins the show next. Sir Yacht joins the show at 9:30. Follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on the 1045 YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Set your notifications for new content posted there daily. OTB/OT starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What up, what up? Welcome in. OTB/OT, final hour of this Tuesday show. If you're watching online, thank you so much. Shout out. The huddle is dead. The YouTube chat, though, is alive and well. Chris Eversole says Dreamcast is so underrated. And I think that's giving me an idea for a poll question, because I think I tend to agree. What is the most underrated video game console of all time? Like, it's not PS2, right? People celebrate the PS2. It's not Xbox 360, but what about, like, the original Xbox? What about Dreamcast? What about GameCube? See where it goes. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk to Brody Miller right now about a very old LSU Ole Miss headline from the original 1894 matchup. That is fantastic, as well as this LSU schedule. Then at 9:15, we will dive into this idea that the Big Ten may not be dead yet. There may be a flicker of life. And it all centers around a YouTube account that could be pulling off one of the greatest troll jobs of all time. I'm talking about Sir Yacht. And we are in touch with Yacht. And we will have him on at 9:30 to explain himself. So be he false prophet or John the Baptist. You'll hear from him himself. And we'll kind of, we'll get it straight from the source's mouth. But right now, it's my pleasure to welcome in my podcast co-host, also somebody whose work I love reading. This is Brody Miller of The Athletic. We do the Hold That Podcast podcast together every single week, every Tuesday. You can find it every Tuesday. It's great. Subscribe wherever podcasts are found. We do it under the Athletic banner. Go to theathletic.com/holdthatpodcast. Brody, what's up, dude? What's going on?
You know, T-Bob, I'm eating a chorizo breakfast casserole. Okay. Got a solid football schedule to discuss, and camp starts this week. So overall, I'd say I'm doing decent this morning. How are you?
Yeah, man, life is good. You got a little Ed Orgeron press conference coming up at noon that you get to chop up. Now, how about this, though, Brody? You just quote tweeted, I can't remember who, maybe it was Matt Brown, but he tweeted out a picture of a headline following the original Ole Miss LSU game back in 1894, and it's kind of amazing because in the headline, like the first few lines are like, Ole Miss proves to be too much for the football team from the University of Oxford proves to be too strong for Louisiana. Mississippi beats them 26-6. And Mississippi carries off the honors of the gridiron. The last line, though, is the line to highlight. It says, the game was a brilliant one and thoroughly enjoyed by the spectators. No casualties. Was football so violent or intense? Like, was the no casualties, was that referring to on the field? Was that referring to in the stands? Do you have any insight into why these editors felt to put no casualties in the headline?
I know. Well, first off, you got to say, you know what, T-Bob? This is the kind of stuff that the angry news media doesn't talk about enough at football games. No one ever mentions every game that goes by without casualties. But no, back in 1894, they gave credit where it was due. And when they got through a football game with no one dead, they gave credit. And I think that's how it should be.
Look, but also, granted, dude, people were probably dying at a way higher rate back then, right? Like, maybe it was more of a regular thing where a fight happens, somebody dies.
I know. I really want to know what happened last game. Like, what happened at the last game? Like, because they mentioned it like 2 or 3 different times in the article, too. I want to know, like, what's going on at the other 1894 football games. Were there brawls in the stands? I have no idea.
No casualties. Now, there may be some casualties on LSU's schedule this year. There may have been some casualties yesterday if you're an A&M fan and you look at your new schedule. Brody, what was your initial reaction to LSU's slate?
LSU got the most hand-wrapped gift you could possibly get. For example, we did an SEC roundtable, last night of all the SEC writers talking about who won, and almost everyone agreed with LSU. LSU. Wow. Let's put it this way: you look at every other major team's schedule. There's at least one stretch of tough games, right? Alabama has an LSU, Kentucky, Auburn consecutive stretch. Auburn has Tennessee, Alabama, A&M. Georgia has Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama. Like, every team has like a 3-game stretch that's really tough, and LSU doesn't even really have a 2-game stretch that's tough. And I think that tells you kind of how much of a gift this schedule is. And yeah, it depends what you think of South Carolina. The Florida, South Carolina, Auburn stretch is a little tricky, but still, LSU's a double-digit favorite in that game. So you look at it from that perspective, the fact that just from a schedule balance point of view, it's a gift. And then 2, you look at it as, you probably talked about this on the show earlier, but you have a new quarterback, a new defense, a bunch of new and less experienced players, and you basically have a 3-week preseason leading up to the Florida game of 3 games you're going to be like 26 to 30-point favorites against in each of those first 3 games. You literally couldn't draw it up better. I had an LSU source actually, I put it in the story, but texted me back and asked for what he thought. He said, it's like they were in my head. That is exactly what LSU wanted.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because some people may be like, well, I looked at the schedule yesterday, Brody, and I saw Florida, South Carolina, Auburn, Alabama. That's 3 of the best teams in 4 weeks. But as you said, there is that South Carolina in between Florida and Auburn, which helps. And then there's a bye week following Auburn, so it's not quite as consecutive as it kind of appears at first glance. Let's highlight week 1. Unfortunately, the Egg Bowl week 1 dream did not come true. But that did mean that you got LSU, Mississippi State. So here you have a brand new LSU defense with new coordinators, new guys. Not going to have Kerry Vincent Jr. in there either. So younger guys in that secondary as well. And they are going to be going against Mike Leach, one of the most prolific passing attack minds of all time. And then how about KJ Costello? You look up his 2018 stats, right? Before you got a 65% completion, 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. Like, what kind of challenge do the Bulldogs represent week 1?
You can look at it 2 ways. Because, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a relatively young secondary going against KJ Costello, like you said, who I think will probably have a pretty successful year. Yeah. And I think you and I are both on the side of things that even if I don't think Mike Leach is going to be necessarily successful here at Mississippi State, I think he's going to be at least a chaos agent, where at least like twice a year he's going to upset somebody or take a team to overtime. Like, that's who he's going to be. But still, you're viewing it, you have to view it almost through the lens of they're getting an opening day, they're getting a new coach, installing a very new offense, and during an off season where they had no spring ball and a completely bizarre off season. So you're getting a new program at the exact best time. There's no normal, schedule. So I think LSU's probably in a position to absolutely dominate that game, because LSU at least has a decent amount of continuity. They got a staff they know, a system they know. And Mississippi State, it's going to be all new, and this is going to be like their test run. So I would assume LSU's in position to dominate this game.
So you're a gambling guy. I think LSU, they're favored by like 24, 26,
26,
right?
Yeah.
26. Okay. Even with last year, as an LSU fan, I've been conditioned to be very scared of big numbers like that in terms of covering. What would you do if you had to play that game?
Yeah, actually somebody was asking me this last night, and yeah, you hear me all the time, and I actually am very anti-betting huge numbers. I'm usually the guy who's always taking like the plus 38, but I think that's actually one where I think if I had to make advice right now, it would be take LSU in that game.
Wow.
I really just feel like with, the skill players they have in place, and you know me, I have plenty of concerns with this LSU team, but I really do think they kind of wrap that one.
Talking to Brody Miller here. He covers LSU for The Athletic. TheAthletic.com is a great site. No ads, no BS. Dude, we'll record our pod later today. We'll go more in depth here. Anything else on the schedule that you've applied kind of the Brody Miller lens to? Anything that you've seen that that kind of jumps out to you? Like, for instance, one thing to me is in the age of COVID, where who knows what fan presence is going to be. Like, we basically just know it's not going to be at full capacity. Even there, LSU gets a bit of a break, given that you would have to go to Florida and to Auburn and to A&M, and all of a sudden those environments are not going to be what they would have been.
No, that's absolutely, you're 100% right. This is the 1 year on the schedule where it's kind of brutal that you have those, the three of your four marquee games, if you view it that way, they're on the road. And then again, two pretty brutal environments. So when you look at it that way, LSU, it absolutely got bailed out in another way. And sure, you can also say, well, that means Alabama's not a true home game either. Yeah. But let's just be honest with ourselves. I think most of us probably thought Alabama was going to be a decent point favorite in that game anyway. But I know that's not the way you should think about it. But I'm just saying that I think having a benefit in those other three games is probably a little more important than losing the Alabama game. So I think that jumps out to me. And yeah, I just think my number one takeaway from all of this is just like LSU has such a balanced slate that they always have a recovery week. They always have a tune-up week. And I just really don't think you can be lucky enough with that. Because, you look at, when you look at the biggest losers, I know Arkansas is the obvious biggest loser with the hardest schedule I've ever seen in my life. But I go to Texas A&M as the biggest loser because they're I think we've joked about this on the show a few times, but they're a team that finally had an easy slate. They deserve it too, right? After the schedule they had the last 2 or 3 years. That's some of the hardest schedules I've ever seen, playing Clemson, Alabama, LSU, like all these teams in the same season. But they finally are going to have an easier slate this year. They finally have a really experienced team that they really think can be a contender, top 10 team. And then you add Florida, and I'm actually failing. I'm forgetting the other game.
It's Florida and Alabama. They got or well, I guess they would have already, but they have Alabama way earlier on now. I believe. Let me look it up real quick. But
But yeah, it's Texas A&M. Basically, their schedule just got.
Yes, they will start brutal. Vanderbilt at Alabama, and then host Florida. So we talked about them maybe starting 9-1 and then running into LSU, Alabama. It looks like they could start 1-2, and then the back end hasn't gotten easier as they have to close with LSU, Auburn.
and they add Tennessee also, which is another top 25 or top 30 game, depending on your opinion. So yeah, and like you said, you add Florida, which is already a big blow if you're Texas A&M, but you're getting them way after Bama, which is the tough. That's probably the toughest week for every team's season is bouncing back after that week. So yeah, I think that's a huge L for Texas A&M, a team that genuinely had title hopes this year, and all of a sudden, I don't know anymore. But it really does seem like the SEC kind of took care of its golden boys this year. It seemed like Alabama Well, Alabama got a tough break a little bit, but LSU and Georgia, some of those teams got really good breaks.
No, I mean, to me, the logic looks like NBA seeding logic, or like any playoffs, right? Like the 1 seeds got to play 8 seeds, and so on and so forth. Brody, what do you think of that practice film, huh? Getting a look at a little practice film. Miles dropping in balls in the basket in the Stingley chase battles. Any takeaway from pouring through the footage that LSU released?
Not even as much about the footage itself, but I'm always I always get a lot of fascination about like the politics of where LSU is putting its focus on in these videos. Like who are the people they're highlighting most in that practice video. So obviously you start with Brennan, but a lot of Chris Curry time in those videos. That's probably telling them something because they're trying to sell certain guys. It's like, oh, why is that guy in a graphic for this tweet? Like they're selling that guy. So you got, I think, Damone Clark, Chris Curry, Miles Brennan. I believe we saw a good amount of Terrace Marshall. I think those were some guys that, maybe, I don't know, would be obvious people, but it seemed like they're really pushing them as the guys. So that doesn't mean anything, really. But I just thought that was kind of interesting that those are the guys they're selling. I mean, those are two guys that have a lot of buzz around them as possible number 18 selections, and Chris Curry and Damone Clark. So I do think that's interesting.
Love it. Brody Miller. Follow his work on The Athletic at Brody Miller on Twitter. Brody, thank you so much. We will be in contact later today. After the Oppressor, we will record a brand new Hold That podcast. Take it easy, bro.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, when we get back, is there life yet in the Big Ten? We'll explore this question and more. And then Yacht will come on at 9:30 here on OTB OT.
OTB OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Yacht and Ben Mintz. The guys are live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street to recap the SEC football schedule release and more. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What up, y'all? Welcome back, OTBOT. Hour number 3 here up in the studio. Hope you're having a great Tuesday morning. And right now, let's dive into it. So it looked like the Big Ten was dead in the water, right? And then Justin Fields comes out. He has a petition. A ton of people sign it. Impressive stuff, but like hardly anything that I felt like was actually going to move the needle, right? I mean, I got on here yesterday during the show and I said, these sort of decisions, it's like steering a cruise ship or like some sort of massive like transport ship. Like you just don't turn on a dime. And so I thought that once you make the choice to go to spring, like the Big Ten did, that is a choice that you cannot turn around from. And that still makes a lot of sense to me. But there's been a little buzz that maybe I'm off base. Before we get to the Sir Yacht story, though, let's talk about another development which could be huge, not just for college sports, but for life in general, kind of getting back to normal. And so within this last week, there has been a new saliva test approved by the FDA. This was developed at Yale. It was funded by the NBA and NBA PA. Instead of $100, you are looking at about $4 per test instead of $100 per test. I mean, that is quite literally about 20 times less, right? So if you're just thinking about orders of magnitude, if you think about barriers that schools and businesses have in fighting COVID and getting the testing needed, pricing is a huge one of them. And they're saying maybe the consumer pricing goes to like $10 or $20. Either way, still significantly cheaper. These tests are between 88 and 94% accurate, meaning if you did 2 of them, you would have a 99% accuracy reading. And as I said, the real key is the cost. So lower cost, faster results means more testing. Obviously, more testing means you stay on top of it. You prevent outbreaks. If you prevent outbreaks, you prevent games from being canceled. Now, this only works in situations that have it kind of under control to begin with, which I would say a lot of college football does. So this is a game changer, as we said, not just for sports, for everyday business, but it's something that the SEC and the ACC have already talked about that is definitely on their radar and that they are looking into. And I got to say, if this comes to pass and this ends up being a key element in getting this season going, then the leadership displayed by the ACC and the SEC buying time, waiting for human innovation to come through, I think it's a huge feather in Greg Sankey's cap. I think on the flip side, it's a huge knock against Kevin Warren and what maybe could, at the end of all this, maybe won't be, maybe will be viewed as a premature decision to be pushed back to spring. Also, I do love the idea. There's something that Dan Carlin on the Common Sense podcast, which he stopped because politics got so toxic, unfortunately. But back in the day, many years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, he had a podcast about, if you have all human beings, right? How fast can you accelerate the pace of innovation? If you have all of humanity committing their top minds to a single goal, what kind of problems can you solve? And I think you're seeing that live with stuff like this test. There's word that vaccines could be available by this fall, right? Like you're seeing humans start to innovate out of our current problems that we are in. And so if they pulled off, big win for the SEC. I think the Big Ten's going to end up with a little egg on their face. But here is the deal. Is the big actually done? We mentioned Sir Yacht a lot on today's show. As I said, he is either pulling the biggest troll job in recent memory, or maybe he knows something. Maybe he thinks he knows something that it doesn't come to pass. But here is a video from Sunday night that Sir Yacht put out, and then we'll follow it up with news that has broken since his video was put out there.
All right, update on Big Ten football. Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren scrapped the idea of Big Ten teams playing the ACC and the Big 12 per source. Warren is working with Big Ten presidents to reverse his original idea and see if they are able to have a conference season this fall. Commissioner Warren and Big Ten presidents determined today 100% there will not be a spring college football season. They're going for the fall. The objective is to try and figure out a way to have a bubble for the players to be isolated from other students on campus. Expect a decision on this in the next few days, and Warren changed his tone out of fear of teams going to other conferences and anger from players and parents. And reporters know about this information, but they're afraid of the backlash, and I'm not afraid of the backlash. I'm just letting you know that everybody's doing everything in their power for Big Ten football to happen this fall. And lastly, I don't care how many mean texts I get. I don't care how many of you guys send me death threats in my DMs. Keep doing it, whatever. I'm still going to give you the information. They're doing everything in their power for Big Ten football to occur this season. All right, update on Big Ten.
All right, so there is Sir Yacht. It's a video that he released Sunday night. So since that video was released, you had Penn State's athletic director, or assistant athletic director, Sandy Barber, come out and say it is unclear to her whether or not there was actually a vote. No one's ever told me there was. I just don't know whether there was actually a vote by the chancellors and presidents. Bill Rabinowitz is a blue checkmark Ohio State beat writer, so he is verified. He writes for the Dispatch. He has written Ohio State books. He is a trusted journalistic voice in that community. Quote, an attorney I respect who long worked inside college football programs predicts the pressure from parents, players, and some schools will result in the big reconsidering its cancellation of fall sports. COVID-19 might force recancellation, but he expects a second chance. The lawyer, not Tom Mars, said if waiver liability is, waived, that could be a big development. Also, the new saliva-based COVID-19 test, a big step towards a second look at the season. So a little smoke there from Rabinowitz. Now, what did we mention that for all this talk of a vote taking place, maybe it did not? Well, check this out. Jeff Snook is another Ohio-based journalist. He's got a journalism degree from Ohio State. He's written 14 nonfiction books, so another well-respected voice. He, on a Facebook post, lays out a case. He says that he has sources that he deems very credible who want to remain anonymous, fearing reprisal related to the university. But he is very adamant in his assertion that Big Ten presidents never officially voted last Tuesday. And as he goes on, it gets it gets a little even. Well, it gets a little even more concerned that maybe it wasn't just that they didn't vote, but that Kevin Warren was actively forcing them or actively pushing them towards pushing back to spring. Here's a quote from the Post. It became clear that Commissioner Warren wanted to delay the season until the spring, the source told me. Several presidents wanted to push on with practices and delay the start of the actual season until late September or early October. But it became clear he did not want that. He helped turn several presidents who were undecided. That's not a good look for Warren, at least not a good look if you want college football, right? There's an element of people that will hear me talk about this and think that I'm absolutely crazy, and because you don't think that football should be played. And I get that you're welcome to own your opinion. But if we get through this on the other side, and if things like with saliva-based testing, with the cardiac screening, with all of these protocols that people have put into place, if you manage to have a football season and keep your players safe, it will be the tactics employed by the SEC and the AC and the Big 12, the delaying of the season, the allowing time for human innovation. It'll be those tactics that end up bearing fruit. And then all of a sudden, Kevin Warren, while he's trying to make a leadership play, right? He's saying, we're not going to react. We're going to be proactive. We're going to lead the way here. We're going to shut it down because we think that's the right thing to do. Well, at least it sounds like maybe he thought that was the right thing to do. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. He's certainly under a ton of pressure right now. And we won't really know how to judge the situation until this all plays out, right? It kind of shows what precarious situations leadership can be in. You don't get to make these decisions with the benefit of hindsight. You have to make these decisions, and then we will judge you based on how everything plays out. And here today on this Tuesday, it doesn't feel great for Kevin Warren. So we'll talk to Sir Yacht next here on Off the Bench. Let's see what he has to say. We'll try to figure out if we think he's legitimate or not. False prophet John the Baptist coming up next. Let's see. Sir Yacht, what you got? OTBOT.
OTB, OT. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Yo, join us for a Tuesday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny presented by Richard Tonda. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour. We'll also be joined by Chris Doring of the SEC Network on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What up? Welcome back. OTBOT hour number 3. Close it up right now with the man of the hour. Talked about him all day today. Is he that light in the darkness? Is he a false prophet here to lead you astray? These are the questions that we will explore with my guy Joey, a.k.a. Sir Yacht, member of the Yacht Club, his new podcast. Sir Yacht, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you so much. My girlfriend actually goes to med school up in Monroe, so I'm a little familiar with Louisiana. So, yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Hell yeah, dude. Right on, man. Yeah, shout out North Louisiana. Shout out Monroe. Was that you? It doesn't matter. Yacht, let's get into it, okay? First off, I got to start here because I know you're getting a lot of it, right? How do you respond to everybody that says that you're full of it, and this is all just a play for attention, et cetera, that say that you're lying?
Well, one, I can't because it's impossible to keep up with all these notifications. It's just been nuts. But two, I get it. I'm not Adam Schefter. I'm not Wojnarowski. I'm not even a reporter. The only thing I'm asking for people is to let time tell, because that's the only thing. You just need proof, and I get it. It needs to be official, and once it's official, then you can believe me. But until then, until an official announcement comes out, nobody, I don't have any credibility, and I understand. So I'm just asking for everybody's patience, and then once the story comes out, because I believe it, I have a really good source within a Power 5 school. I'll leave it at that. I think it'll happen.
So take us through the last few days, because it seems like you were a little ahead of the curve here, and now there's some other voices starting to come in, right? Whether it's talking about the vote not actually taking place, or some decisions being made a little ahead of time. Like, how has the news cycle developed? What were you hearing at the beginning in terms of conferences or teams maybe trying to leave the Big Ten, and then what are you hearing now about what the latest is?
Yeah, so it's funny. So the guy who gave me all this information, nobody really knows because I don't try and brag a whole lot. But last week he told me before anybody else that the Big Ten was going to shut down the season. This is about a week and a half ago. So it's obviously been a whirlwind of a week. Commissioner Kevin Warren has changed his opinion, his tone, based on the feedback he's gotten from parents that are starting legal action. But yeah, so what I found out this weekend, it's been nuts in the past 48 hours, is basically, Ohio State was threatening to go to the ACC. You had Nebraska, Michigan, and Iowa threatening to go to the Big 12 if there was no Big 10 play. So originally Kevin Warren was like, it's fine. If we don't have a season, that's fine. And then Sunday, he decided that, that wasn't going to happen. We're going to try and have a Big 10 season just because of all the backlash. So, for example, there have been other people that came out and proven this, but there was no vote. There was like a discussion, like a roundtable discussion, but it sounds like Kevin Warren kind of made up the 12-2 vote that was so popular. And we know athletic directors were left out of the dark because the Penn State athletic director was like, I don't even know if there was a vote. I'm not sure if we were even really involved. So it just sounds like a whirlwind of a situation. But from what I'm hearing, it sounds like Kevin Warren's trying to redeem himself. His son plays at Mississippi State, hasn't pulled him out. He's trying to kind of redeem himself with the Big Ten crowd because he is under some hot fire right now.
Well, and I want you to expound on that a little bit because that's where I wanted to go next. But look, you are right. I mean, dude, there are very clear disconnects that if you want a season, become points of frustration. Like you said, Kevin Warren's own son will be playing in Mississippi State. Well, how's he cool with him playing, but then he's not cool with the conference playing? And then you have stuff like, Iowa State's going to play in the Big 12, but then Iowa's not going to play in the Big Ten. Like, there's a huge disconnect there. So what is it like for Kevin Warren right now? Because to me, when he put this out there, I know that he knew there would be blowback, but I almost get the feeling that he thought that they would be applauded more for being proactive or taking the first step, and it seems like the opposite is taking place.
Yeah, so just going to touch on that really quick. He obviously did it as, he's not a bad guy. He's not a malicious guy. He had good intent. He did it for player safety. My thing is, and I think a lot of people agree with this, if you cancel the season, you're putting all these football players back into college campuses with tens and tens of thousands of people, depending on the campuses, especially, the SEC schools are huge, but we got the schools up here too that are absolutely massive. And You're putting these people even more at risk. And I think it's definitely feasible for you to have a bubble for players. But yeah, he's getting lashback from players, their parents. People are petitioning. Athletic directors are pissed. Even the presidents who were in the discussion are pissed because he made it seem like it was a unanimous decision, and there was kind of just an agreement. There was an agreement, but there wasn't. It doesn't sound like there was a 12-2 vote or a vote, even so. So he's kind of, and I guess I read a couple things from Ohio State beat reporter who doesn't have a Twitter, but he has a Facebook. And
Yeah, we mentioned that the Jeff Snook post. It sounds like Warren was actively persuading to push back to.
And he was trying to keep everything hush. He didn't want anybody to know that there wasn't really a vote. He kind of just wanted to make it seem like that everybody, for the most part, agreed. There was lashback with we know that Iowa and Nebraska, the people that didn't vote to not be a season, but we know also that Iowa, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Michigan are also really vocal. Ryan Day really wants to play. Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith was very vocal about it too. People are not happy, and they're not happy in public. I couldn't even imagine behind the scenes. I am hearing it is absolutely ugly. I don't know details, but it's ugly.
So yesterday, and I was not saying this from any point of knowing anything, just trying to view the situation, right? I kind of described it like you're piloting a giant cruise ship or something, right? And you can't turn on a dime. So when I saw the Justin Fields petition and this other stuff, I'm like, that's nice, but there's no way you reverse course on this decision. And honestly, I still think it's more likely than not that you don't reverse. But as we sit here today, what do you think? How realistic is it, in your opinion, Sir Yacht? How realistic is that the Big Ten maybe has a fall football season?
I think it's realistic because, I've been told that it's going to happen. So I'm putting my entire reputation on this. But he was the first person to tell me that and again, I'm not a reporter. I've just been blessed to be in contact with this person who's enjoyed my content. But he told me about the Big Ten canceling 3 days before it was even official. Or because, you have to make official announcements and things like that. But he told me about this. I put it out, and it happened. So I trust this guy, and everything that's been coming out, he has told me. It's been right. So I've had to trust this guy with my entire life, basically. And again, time will tell. I ask everybody for their patience. I don't have any credibility right now, but we've been working this actively for about 72 hours, and I firmly believe that the Big Ten is going to have a season back based on what everything. Kevin Warren has completely mishandled this situation, and God bless him. I hope he as well, but he needs to learn from this. He completely boxed it with the Big Ten.
Joey, I love it, dude. I love it, man. Sir Yacht, as he said, man, he's all in. He's hanging in the ballots. We'll see. Hey, tell everybody where they can find all your stuff, follow you, all that.
Yeah, so I don't make cringe TikTok dances, but I am on TikTok. I do a lot of stuff there. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I make music on Spotify and Apple Music. A lot of people think this is like a publicity stunt for me, and it couldn't be the furthest from it, because if it's wrong, then my entire reputation is thrown down the line. But anywhere you want to search Sir Yacht, that's where I'll be. Yes, but thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Thank you for coming on. This was a lot of fun, and for what it's worth, dude, I hope you're right. I hope we're right. It'd be awesome. And
I hope so too.
There'd be nothing better than if we had a reporter in the game who, instead of Adam Schefter, or like you said, it's a yacht party or something. Every time you could have a big scoop. At Sir Yacht on Twitter, hit him up. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, take it easy. All right. Hey, boys, I don't know. Where do we sit? Where do we sit here on the other side? How are y'all feeling? Crack the mics. How you feeling about the Big Ten?
I think we just have to wait and see. I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's just conservative. I still think it's more likely than not that it doesn't happen. And I've been led wrong by a source that I believed was like 1,000% nailed down as well. So that can put you in tough spots.
It can. I can't see the Big Ten going back on this.
Yeah, maybe.
You are in so deep now, and if it's ugly now, it's only going to get worse
but let's
in the
explore
court
that.
of public opinion.
Would it though?
Yes. It would if they go back on it, have their fall season, and then have to cancel again. If they come back and it works, I think it softens the blow.
I think if they come back and they cancel again, I think at that point they just then
that just points to more mismanagement.
Well,
though.
see,
like what are you doing? You had it canceled and now you came back and you had to cancel again, so you failed twice now.
See, arguably, I would say that, and I'm probably just advocating for the other side, right? But I would argue that at that point they avoided the sunken cost fallacy, right? They made a bad decision in canceling. And then instead of doubling down on that, they said, you know what? We misread the room. Maybe we were wrong. There's this new saliva testing thing. There's other things that could help out. We're going to attempt to do a season again. And then if it get canceled at that point, I think at that point then nobody complains because, I mean, the players can't be upset because you tried the – now, obviously the people who – there is a large contingent of people, and some of it's geographic, political, whatever. There's a large contingent of people that sits there that thinks that us sitting here and advocating for football is really stupid, okay? So, yes, they will be more upset than ever if you reverse this course. But it seems like in the majority of public opinion that people are not happy with the Big Ten right now. And to at least attempt a fall season with some of these new measures, I think would actually be the best PR play right now.
I mean, that's right. Don't get me wrong. I would like them to reverse and try to play. I think the SEC has been the poster child of this, pushing the season back to the 26th to give you more time. The Big Ten handcuffed themselves from the start when they said, we're going to start on time on September 5th.
Yeah.
Also, how quiet's the Pac-10 right now?
Yeah, well, and so
they just don't care.
And so also doesn't that speak to like kind of the regionalization and the political motivations, because they would, given their geographical footprint and how that ties into kind of the general politics of the area, they would get lambasted, I think, if they tried to play football.
They would, but it also,
even with all the safety measures.
What did we talk about a lot last week is a lot of the reports from the players when they didn't even try to play a season. This kind of...
Yeah, the Pac-12 looks like at least the Big Ten
they really
did
just
their due
didn't
diligence.
want to.
Yeah, the Pac-12 looks like they just kind of threw their hands up and said it's all too much to try to figure out. The Big Ten did not. So I don't know. Maybe there's a little life there yet. We will wait and see. Fascinating times that we live in. I wonder how quickly this news could potentially change or potentially break, because like Kevin Warren has to address this suit, right? I mean, it's all this thing about not having a vote is all in the media, and it's only going to continue to gain steam. I mean, we saw it on Get Up earlier this morning. Like in the college football world, it's only going to continue to get louder and louder. So
he's in a bad way, man. If they didn't have a vote and he pushed it on people, and now he has to go back and reverse it and admit that they didn't have the vote, and that's
it's not good.
That's not good.
It's not good. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. Fascinating times in college football. Wrap up OTB next when we get back.
OTB OT. Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. The full SEC schedule has been released. We will dissect it all on Tuesday's AFR. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to OTB OT. Closing out. Oh, boy. Yacht party. Some people saying that I looked nervous. Junior says T-Bob looks nervous that he let Yacht loose on the air in speculation, maybe from his drunk contact. Look, man, I don't care. This is sports. Like, I don't think any of it really matters. I mean, it does and it doesn't, right? Like, I don't know that. I mean, I guess the point is we're not like breaking stories that are like putting lives in peril, or if they're wrong, there's major consequences. If they're wrong, nothing changes. There's no Big Ten football. Nothing matters, okay? This is all just fun. And Sir Yacht, he's got a little juice. got a little juice to him. We'll see over the next couple of days. For what it's worth, I still find it so hard to believe that it could happen. And then another guy, Raynard Francois, in 2020, everything's a publicity stunt. Of course he wants to push his music, TikTok videos, and other crap these kids these days are into. Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You feel a bit like you're yelling at a cloud, but you're still not wrong. Like, this could all be a publicity stunt. As we alluded to before the show, we're like, should we have one? Should we not? I think they just put out the second episode of their podcast, which, that timing's a little sketchy. You're trying to get a little juice. It's an excellent way. But in the same token, he was kind of ahead of this no vote thing. And now the no vote thing has come to pass. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Sir Yacht has given us a lot to think about. I guess the biggest takeaway is that the pushback is, I think, a bit more than even I realized outside looking in. And that it's maybe not dead yet. Probably is, but maybe not. All right, we're going to close up today's show. Danny, can you bring up those poll results on the most underrated gaming console? Do y'all have an opinion? Do you have an opinion, Musso? You don't strike me as much of a gamer.
Yeah, not really. I don't. But
you never played GameCube growing up?
I did, but
Dreamcast?
No Dreamcast.
One of my best memories was getting a Dreamcast when it came out that Christmas Day, running downstairs playing Sonic. Then there was NFL 2K with Randy Moss on the cover. He was the only 99 in the game. He was unbelievable. You could throw it to him anywhere. But also, it was like the most graphically advanced football game I had ever seen. It was just like utterly mind-blowing, dude. So my answer to most underrated gaming console of all time, we put the GameCube in there. We put the Dreamcast in there. We put the original Xbox in there. I have great memories with all three. Okay, the Rogue Squadron games on the GameCube were very good. I know people love GameCube Smash Bros. I've never really gotten into it, but I know it's, people are obsessed. Mario Kart Double Dash was incredible. Can't really speak to Mario Sunshine. Never played it. But the GameCube, I had some fun memories. I used to play a lot of wrestling games on the GameCube as well.
They had some good ones on the GameCube.
Dude, Hell in a Cell matches on there. I can't remember which one it was, but I would always create a wrestler, and it would basically be Green Lantern. And then me and my three friends, or my little brother, and my two neighbors, we would just do 4-way Hell in a Cell matches, and it was awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
It was super fun. But so I have a lot of good memories. I have a lot of good memories of the original Xbox. Probably my first foray into competitive shooting when you're talking about that first Halo. So I never had a PC, so I wasn't playing like Quake or any of this back in the day.
Halo 2 is a classic.
Halo 2 is a classic, dual wielding, but even pre-Halo 2. How about Halo 1? How about the Halo 1 pistol? 3-shot kill. It had a scope on it. And if you got 3 headshots, the distance didn't matter. They were done, dude. I remember my boy's clan was TSK, and I thought that was so cool. So all that said, I love the GameCube, love the original Xbox, but I think the Sega Dreamcast is the winner for most underrated console. It tried to be the first online console, did a lot of interesting things. It failed in many ways, but it lived on in many hearts as well. So, Danny, poll results. What is the most underrated console?
GameCube is winning at 40%.
Wow. I thought Dreamcast had this thing in the bag. Okay. Look, GameCube. Raynard says he used to love playing Sonic. Greg Lamont, not a big fan of the GameCube controller. That GameCube controller design is still some of the oddest. Like the amount of money that goes into making those things, and that's what popped out the other side. You get the original Xbox controller, which is essentially a car that you just had to try to hold with your hands. More Off the Bench coming up tomorrow. Hope you enjoy this. Share the show. Stick around. We'll see you tomorrow.
OTB, OT.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.